What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
7 BC. 146. Sengoku Admiral cheers for Lai Mu. Amazing video. 0/447. 146. Sengoku Admiral cheers for Lai Mu. 5 Elders, I really hope that you can have a little more trust in me. You have witnessed with your own eyes how powerful I am. Don't you still believe that I can get things done? Seeing Lai Mu's full expression, the 5 elders holding the cane also glared at Lai Mu, and reluctantly handed the golden phone bug into Lai Mu's hand. Lai Mu took the golden phone bug and really wanted to ask who would take over the silver phone bug. When he wanted to give orders, the man from the silver telephone bug was the first to receive the message. He would lead the rest of the marine soldiers, vice admirals, and follow him to complete the mission. 5 elders, where is the silver phone bug? Who do you plan to give it to? Seeing that Lai Mu mentioned the silver phone bug again, they thought it should be handed over to that Akainu. 15 Since Lai Mu chose Akainu to be his helper, does he also hope that they will hand over the silver phone bug to Akainu? Leave it to your helper Akainu. Seeing that they were going to hand it over to Akainu, Lai Mu was really reluctant and didn't want him to get this advantage. 5 elders, I think the silver phone bug really shouldn't be given to Akainu. It can be given to other people. At this time, Akainu also noticed that there were so many people on the beach. He was very curious about what happened and walked quickly towards the beach. He happened to hear what Lai Mu said. He knew what Lai Mu meant, he just didn't want the 5 elders to hand over the silver phone bug to him, so he rushed forward immediately. Lai Mu, why? I am also capable. The golden phone bug has been handed over to you. Why can't the silver phone bug be given to me? In Lai Mu's eyes, there is no reason, and he is not willing to answer his nonsense. He just hopes that the 5 elders can understand that they can complete this matter. So now, whatever I say is whatever I say, and they just listen. The 5 elders can understand what Lai Mu means, and they think that as long as Lai Mu can complete Ohara's mission, it will be good. They directly handed the silver phone bug to Lai Mu. Seeing them handing it over, Lai Mu knew what they meant and could allocate it independently to whom should give this silver phone. Lai Mu stepped forward and took it over. 5 elders, believe me, I will definitely get this done. Just wait for the news of my return. The 5 elders didn't say anything. 4 of them couldn't stand Lai Mu. They turned around and planned to return to the ship and return to their World War Palace. However, there was another 5 elders who smiled at Lai Mu, waved to Lai Mu, and the group left the beach. Seeing that the 5 elders were about to leave, Akainu rushed forward again, wanting to ask the 5 elders, hoping that they would hand the silver phone bug into his hands. 5 elders, you are the highest and most powerful leaders in the World War government field. Do you really plan to obey Lai Mu in everything? Looking at Akainu in this state, Lai Mu felt that he was really looking for death. Everyone knows that the 5 elders of the World War Palace obey their orders, but no one dares to show it. But Akainu said it directly, as if he thought that the 5 elders of the World War Palace had listened to him. I guess the 5 elders of the World War Palace must be very dissatisfied in their hearts now. The 5 elders of the World War Palace did not want to pay attention to Akainu anymore. They glared at him and said, get out of here. Seeing them talking like this, the 5 elders did not dare to speak anymore. It was also obvious that the 5 elders of the World War Palace were a little angry. They could only stand there and watch them get on the boat and leave the coast. Lai Mu is now playing with the golden phone bug and the silver phone bug in his hands, and he is really happy in his heart. Sengoku Admiral saw the smile on Lai Mu's face and felt that this was a difficult task. Lai Mu must perform well this time. He also hoped that Lai Mu could return successfully. Lai Mu, I will stay here at the Marineford Marine headquarters, waiting for your good news, come on. Seeing his master encouraging him like this, Lai Mu nodded, don't worry, Sengoku Admiral, I will definitely do a good job this time. You must not forget what I asked you to hand over to Kizaru. Quote. Sengoku Admiral saw Lai Mu reminding him again and nodded, naturally he would not forget it. Don't worry, Lai Mu, I will remember it well and will forward the letter to Kizaru after you leave. Lai Mu also believes in Sengoku Admiral very much. Now he feels that he can have a good rest when he returns to the dormitory, and he can go to sea to complete Ohara's mission tomorrow. Sengoku Admiral, then I will go back to the room to rest. 147. Akainu bows to Lai Mu. 147. Akainu bows to Lai Mu. Sengoku Admiral nodded and watched Lai Mu walking towards the dormitory. Akainu stood there in a daze for a long time. When he heard that Lai Mu was going back to the dormitory, he immediately turned around and chased after Lai Mu, shouting loudly as he chased. Lai Mu, wait. Hearing Akainu calling him from behind, Lai Mu stood there and turned around slowly. What's wrong Akainu? Is something wrong? Akainu now wants to surrender. He thinks that as long as he gets the silver phone bug, he can lead the marine soldiers and other vice admirals to complete Ohara's mission. Maybe after I come back, I will be promoted or given some rewards. Now he wants to give Lai Mu a good compliment. Maybe Lai Mu will really give the silver phone bug to him after listening to his soft words. Lai Mu has made many mistakes before, and they are all my fault. I am a petty and selfish person. I hope you can hand over the silver phone bug to me. Believe me, I will accompany you to get this done. Lai Mu was very surprised when he heard what he said. She didn't expect that he would say such soft words. But were these words he said true or false? For a moment, Lai Mu was really confused. Dare to believe Jian. I really didn't expect that you would lower your head to me like this in order to get this silver phone bug. I will carefully consider what you said. I will not give the silver phone bug to anyone for a while. People. When I get there and complete the mission, I will go back and choose someone to hand over this silver phone bug to her. If you are sincere, it will not be too late to hand it over to you. Lai Mu turned around and left Akainu's side. Akainu saw Lai Mu telling him this, and he knew that he had to get along well with Lai Mu along the way. Only in this way can you get the silver phone bug. Lai Mu took the golden phone bug and the silver phone bug and returned to his dormitory, lying on the bed. Lai Mu felt that he should take good care of the golden phone bug and the silver phone. If you lose these two things, you have lost your rights. There is really no way to command the rest of the marine soldiers and vice admirals to complete this mission. Lai Mu put it in his drawer and locked the drawer. Kizaru was very unhappy staying in his room. He was thinking why. He really couldn't understand Lai Mu. He was unwilling to give in. He didn't believe that Lai Mu would treat him like this. He sat there and thought for a long time. He thought that this time he had to go to sea with Lai Mu. Tomorrow there should be many marine soldiers preparing food for Lai Mu and others to go to sea. There are also some equipped marine cannons. Everyone will be very busy by then, so I took advantage of that time to sneak onto the boat where Lai Mu and the others were going to sea. In this case, as long as you hide under the deck of the ship, or in the warehouse on the ship, you won't be discovered, and you can go to sea with Lai Mu to complete the mission. He thought that he should pack his things, and when everyone was busy tomorrow, he would take the opportunity to get into the boat, and he started to get busy, packing his things. There was Napolisolino on the beach just now, and he also saw the five elders delivering the golden phone bug and the silver phone bug to Lai Mu's hands. This made him envious of this. He wondered why Lai Mu could succeed like that, holding the golden phone bug to command the marine soldiers to complete the mission. When he thought that Lai Mu could be so majestic, he felt a lot of unwillingness in his heart. He thought what would happen if Lai Mu didn't have the golden phone bug and the silver phone bug. Wouldn't he be able to go to sea? The five elders would also give him heavy punishment. Who asked him to give such an important thing to lost? When he thought of this, he felt that he really should go to Lai Mu's dormitory today and steal the golden phone bug and the silver phone bug. It was not easy for him to steal the golden phone bug and the silver phone bug. He had to think carefully about how to sneak into Lai Mu's room. I was the one who spoiled Lai Mu's food that day. Now I go to apologize to Lai Mu, and then can I sneak into Lai Mu's room? He rushed directly to the dormitory, came to the door of Lai Mu's dormitory, and knocked on the door. Lai Mu was sleeping soundly. When he heard the knock on the door outside, he really didn't want to open it and kept going back and forth. I turned over twice, trying to continue falling asleep. Poor Salino stood at the door and waited impatiently, so he knocked hard several times. Hearing the knock on the door again, Lai Mu could only stand up and open the door. When the door was opened, he did not expect that it was Napolisolino who came. 148. Poor Salino wants to reconcile with Lai Mu. Amazing video. 0/447. 148. Poor Salino wants to reconcile with Lai Mu. Lai Mu didn't want to pay attention to him, thinking that he was really not very good, and she didn't want to get along with him too much in the future. Without saying anything, he immediately closed the door. Seeing that Lai Mu was about to close the door, poor Salino quickly stopped him with his hands. Lai Mu, I came here to say sorry to you. Can we chat? The last time we went to sea together, you helped me solve the bullet and kept me from being hurt. I am very grateful for this. Maybe I'm really being petty this time. Please forgive me. Let's make peace and get along as well as we did before. Can we? Lai Mu felt that the sun really came out in the west today. Not only Akainu, but also he came to apologize to himself and hope that he could forgive him, which made Lai Mu not believe his words. Seeing Lai Mu's surprised face, 457 stared at himself. He continued to pretending to be so pitiful, hoping that Lai Mu could believe him. Why, Lai Mu, you don't believe what I said. I know that I have done a lot of things these days, which makes you particularly dissatisfied. Please believe me, I will never be like this again. Just let me enter your dormitory, and let the two of us have a chat. Seeing him trying to enter his dormitory, Lai Mu thought that he might have some conspiracy, so he would welcome him and let him come in to see what he was going to do. Lai Mu stepped aside, but said nothing. Seeing Lai Mu step aside, poor Salino knew that Lai Mu should be welcoming him in. He walked in directly and sat there, planning to have a good chat with Lai Mu. Lai Mu, congratulations to you. You can complete Ohara's mission, which shows that you have the strength. Otherwise, the five elders of the World War Palace would not give you this mission. Lai Mu sat there, still not saying a word, just wanting to see what he would do next. Seeing that Lai Mu didn't speak, poor Salino continued with a smile on his face. Lai Mu, I also saw it at that time. They gave you the golden phone bug and the silver phone bug. Can you show them to me? There were so many people at the time that I didn't dare to go forward. I really wanted to. You have to observe it carefully. You know it's possible that a vice admiral like me who has no strength will never be able to complete that arduous task in his lifetime, and there is no way he can hold the golden phone bug and the silver phone bug in his hands. Now that we have reconciled, can you lend it to me? After poor Salino said so much, he mentioned the golden phone bug again. Lai Mu understood what he meant. He probably just wanted to steal his golden phone bug so that he would not be able to complete this mission, and was punished by the World Warhouse BFEH, 5 elders. It seems that his move is really quite high. However, Lai Mu felt that he was still a little stupid for coming to his room so blatantly and saying that he wanted to see the golden phone bug. Could he really show it to her for him to see? It's not that I didn't take out the golden phone bug and the silver phone bug to show you, poor Salino, but those things are really precious. If I lose them, the leaders above will not let them go. It's mine, so I really can't show it to you. Seeing that Lai Mu was not going to take it out for him to take a look at, poor Salino was thinking that he was already here. What should he do to send Lai Mu away and go to his room properly? How about turning it over? Seeing that he didn't speak, Lai Mu thought that she would let him show his fox tail to see if he had such thoughts. Poor Salino is really sorry. I can't take out the golden phone bug and the silver phone bug to show you. Please sit down for a while and I will get you a glass of water. Lai Mu said politely. He stood up and left his room, wanting to get a glass of water for Rusalino. When poor Salino saw Lai Mu going out, he felt that his chance had really come now, so he started to rummage around in the house. Lai Mu really wasn't afraid of him finding the golden phone bug and the silver phone bug. Indeed, he locked them in the drawer. It was impossible for him to open them because the key was on his body. I can take advantage of this time to call Sengoku Admiral over. In this case, Sengoku Admiral will see what poor Salino is doing. Then I don't have to take action myself. Sengoku Admiral will also help me to discipline him well. Take a look at this Pelusalino. As soon as Lai Mu left the dormitory, she took big steps and ran towards Sengoku Admiral's office. Lai Mu's pace is very fast. Every time he stands on tiptoes and jumps, he seems to be able to take a big step. You can read more Daily New Nov 149. Poor Salino was caught red-handed. Amazing video. 0/447. 149. Poor Salino was caught red-handed. Lai Mu quickly rushed to Sengoku Admiral's office, and poor Salino also started rummaging around in Lai Mu's dormitory. Poor Salino also lifted Lai Mu's bed and rummaged through the clothes in the closet, but he couldn't find the golden phone bug or the silver phone bug. At this time, he noticed that the table beside Lai Mu's bed had a drawer, and there was obviously a lock on the drawer. He wondered if the golden phone bug and the silver phone bug were locked in it. Poor Salino thought it was possible. He looked around and noticed a flower pot in Lai Mu's room. He thought he should use the flower pot to break the lock. Only after breaking the lock, you might be able to steal the golden phone bug and the silver phone bug. Lai Mu also arrived at Sengoku Admiral's office within a few minutes. He didn't even knock on the door, he just pushed open the door of Sengoku Admiral's office and barged in. Sengoku Admiral was giving instructions to other marine soldiers. When he saw Lai Mu barging in like this, he felt that Lai Mu was really rude. Lai Mu, why didn't you even look at the door? You just barged in like this. It's too late. Follow me to my dormitory quickly. I'll let you see something. Seeing Lai Mu saying that he wanted to see something, Sengoku Admiral still didn't quite understand, but Lai Mu thought that it was really too late, so he could only pull Sengoku Admiral and hurry back to his dormitory. He picked up the Sengoku Admiral and quickly ran to his dormitory. Lai Mu was very strong and pulled Sengoku Admiral all the way to his dormitory quickly. Sengoku Admiral felt that his arm was about to be pulled off by Lai Mu, and he could only follow Lai Mu quickly, otherwise his arm would be really painful from being pulled off. The two of them rushed back to Lai Mu's dormitory. When they came to the door of their dormitory, Lai Mu kicked the door open. At this time, I happened to see poor Salino holding a flower pot and going to break the lock of his drawer. The room was also in a mess, the quilt on the bed was turned over randomly, and the clothes in the cabinet fell off. The flower pot in poor Salino's hand was held in his hands like this. Facing Lai Mu and Sengoku Admiral, he didn't know what to say. Lai Mu pointed directly at Pelusalino and said loudly, "What are you doing, Pelusalino?" Sengoku Admiral was also particularly curious about what Pelusalino was doing, so he threw away Lai Mu's hand and stared at Pelusalino angrily. Pelusalino, please explain to me carefully what you were doing in Lai Mu's dormitory. Now poor Salino finally understood that he was really beaten up by Lai Mu. Just now Lai Mu was not going to pour water for him, but it seemed that he wanted to bring Sengoku Admiral over. This was really the case. Caught myself in the act. Poor Salino thought for a while. He felt that he could only make up lies randomly and deceive Lai Mu and Sengoku Admiral first. I just saw a mouse running around. One moment it jumped on Lai Mu's bed, and the next moment it jumped on top of the cabinet. That's why I made this room so messy. Please give me flowers. Seeing him describe what just happened, Lai Mu burst out laughing. How could Lai Mu believe what he said? I also want to ask Sengoku Admiral if he believes it. Sengoku Admiral, do you believe what he said? Look, that mouse can run around, but can it get into my drawer? My drawer is locked. Could it be that this mouse found my key first, opened the lock, then went in and locked it again? After seeing Lai Mu say this, Sengoku Admiral was almost amused by Lai Mu, but as a leader, he still looked at Napolisalino with a serious expression on his face. 0. Poor Shalino, your lies are really not very tactful. I think you want to break the lock on Lai Mu's drawer. I think you want to steal something. Sengoku Admiral's words were on point. Lai Mu nodded, planning to tell Sengoku Admiral that he had the golden phone bug and the silver phone bug in his drawer. Sengoku Admiral poor Salino just came to my dormitory and chatted with me for a while. I could tell from his words that he must have a conspiracy when he came, so I took the opportunity to say that I would give him. I poured a glass of water, went to your office, and called you over. I just want you to take a good look at what he is doing in my dormitory. I think he just wants to steal my gold phone bug and silver phone bug. Lai Mu said affirmatively. Poor Salino looked at Sengoku Admiral pitifully, and quickly shook his head. Sengoku Admiral, please believe me, I really don't have such an idea. Where did I get such courage? LS on fictionzone.net. Both sites shared the same login details, so you don't need to sign up again. 150. Sengoku Admiral thinks Lai Mu is doing a good job. 150. Sengoku Admiral thinks Lai Mu is doing a good job. Lai Mu glared at him, feeling that he had always been very courageous. In order to do something detrimental to himself, he seemed to be desperate no matter what he did. Anyway, I let Sengoku Admiral see your behavior today. I guess Sengoku Admiral will also punish you well to let you know that what you did was wrong. Sengoku Admiral knew that poor Salino had indeed done a lot of wrong things during this period. He had not punished him, but only warned him. He did not expect that he would have such thoughts today. Go to 327 to steal Mu's golden phone bug and silver phone bug. What is his intention? Sengoku Admiral is really disappointed with him. Pelusalino, you are just a little vice admiral now. You act like this, which really makes me uncomfortable. Well, Lai Mu has said that you must be punished. Then you will be an ordinary marine soldier from now on, and the position of General Tien will not be yours. Seeing that Sengoku Admiral was about to withdraw his position as vice admiral, poor Salino thought about how many years it had taken him to get here. Was he really about to be withdrawn now? No, Sengoku Admiral, you can't remove me from my position. You know it has not been easy for me over the years. Please forgive me, please forgive me. Poor Salino was crying hysterically, but what was the use? Who made him do such a thing? Even if Sengoku Admiral wanted to forgive him, seeing how he had done so many unfavorable things to Lai Mu, I can no longer bear to forgive him. I have already given this order, and no one can change it. You'd better go back as soon as possible. Seeing Sengoku Admiral rushing him to leave, poor Salino could only slowly stand up and leave Lai Mu's room. After seeing him leave, Lai Mu looked at Sengoku Admiral. Lai Mu was also unwilling to expose poor Salino in front of Sengoku Admiral like this. He had such bad intentions. Do he have to tolerate him like this? Sengoku Admiral, I know that what I did is very bad, but this is my temper. You should know it very well. I will not tolerate poor Salino doing things that are not good for me. Sengoku Admiral nodded. He knew what kind of person Lai Mu was, and he would not think that Lai Mu was not doing well. He hoped that Lai Mu could protect its golden phone bugs and silver phone bugs. It's possible that not only poor Salino, but the other Marines also have feelings of envy and hatred. Lai Mu, you'd better take good care of your own things and don't lose them. Otherwise, you really won't be able to go out to sea to complete this mission, and you may be punished by the 5 elders of the World War Palace. Hearing Sengoku Admiral reminding himself to pay more attention, Lai Mu nodded, and Sengoku Admiral also left Lai Mu's room directly. After seeing Sengoku Admiral leave, Lai Mu pouted, feeling that this poor Salino just now was not only bad, but also even more annoying. He actually made his room a mess. Now I have to clean it up properly. Akainu trained on the beach for a while and decided to go back to the dormitory to take a rest. As soon as I walked to the door of Lai Mu's dormitory, I saw that Lai Mu's room was also in a mess. Lai Mu was cleaning up there alone. He wondered if he should help Lai Mu. Just try to please Lai Mu, and in the future he would even ask Lai Mu to hand over the silver phone bug to him. He stretched out his hand and knocked on the door. Hearing the knock, Lai Mu slowly turned around, not expecting that it was Akainu standing at the door of his dormitory. What's wrong? Is there something going on? Lai Mu, what happened to your room? Why is it so messy? Let me clean it up for you. Akainu walked in without Lai Mu's consent and began to help Lai Mu make the bed. Lai Mu saw that he was so willing to be attentive, so let him show it well. However, I also have a very strange personality. He may not show it, and I will hand over the silver phone bug to him. It may really make all his attentiveness go in vain. Lai Mu threw the clothes aside and sat on the chair, watching 0.7 Akainu busy with himself. Akainu's eyes slowly turned to the back, and he saw Lai Mu just sitting on the chair, not busy arranging his own clothes and other things. Akainu was thinking that Lai Mu really wanted to do you blame everything on yourself. This made her carry Lai Mu on her back and pouted, so she could only help Lai Mu clean up the house as soon as possible. After about half an hour, Akainu helped Lai Mu tidy up the house. Lai Mu looked around and felt that Akainu had tidied it up fairly well, so he nodded with satisfaction. 151. Sengoku Admiral saw off Lai Mu. 151. Sengoku Admiral saw off Lai Mu. Akainu, thank you very much. I'm really tired now and want to rest as soon as possible. You'd better go back to your dormitory as soon as possible. Akainu has done so many things, how could he just leave and still want to mention the silver phone bug? Lai Mu, please leave the silver phone bug to me when the time comes. Trust me, I will really get things done. Seeing his verbose words, Lai Mu felt as if his ears were calloused, which was really annoying. Akainu, I told you to stop talking. My head hurts because of your quarrel. I feel very sleepy. You'd better go back quickly. I also need to rest. Lai Mu pushed him out of his dormitory and immediately closed the door. After locking the door, Lai Mu lay on the bed, closed his eyes and fell asleep. 15. Akainu really didn't expect that he had just done so much, and now Lai Mu was rushing him to leave. He was thinking that he must snatch the silver phone bug this time when he went to see. He stamped his foot angrily and left the door of Lai Mu's dormitory. It's getting dark. Lai Mu and the others will set off tomorrow to complete Ohara's assignment. Sengoku Admiral plans to gather all the marine soldiers, as well as some vice admirals and marshals, and have a good time together. He directly gave instructions to some marine soldiers to inform these people, and rushed to Lai Mu's dormitory by himself, planning to invite Lai Mu. Arriving at the door of Lai Mu's dormitory, he knocked on the door. Hearing the knock on the door outside, Lai Mu slowly opened his eyes. This sleep made Lai Mu sleep really soundly. Now his stomach was growling and he wanted to fill it up. He stood up and opened the door. When he saw Sengoku Admiral coming, Lai Mu said with a smile. Why, Sengoku Admiral, isn't he here to ask me to eat? Yes, I just came to invite you to dinner. Tomorrow you will go to sea to complete Ohara's mission. Naturally, we want to give you a good celebration and then see you off. Seeing that Sengoku Admiral really meant this, Lai Mu thought that he was really respectful and might as well obey his orders, obey Sengoku Admiral, and go to the fun with him. Lai Mu followed Sengoku Admiral and went directly to the cafeteria. Sengoku Admiral also gave instructions to the marine soldiers and asked them to inform Kizaru. They went to inform Kizaru, but Kizaru didn't intend to show his face. He wanted to stay in his dormitory tonight. He was afraid that when he saw Lai Mu would figure out something about him, and even more so, he would find out that he would quietly go to sea with them, so he could only deceive the marine soldiers and say that he was not feeling well. Go and tell Sengoku Admiral that I'm not feeling well and would like to stay in the room, so I won't join you for the time being. Seeing that Kizaru had said this, the marine soldier nodded and left his room directly. When Lai Mu came to the cafeteria, she didn't expect that so many marine soldiers and vice admirals were there. They looked at Lai Mu with smiles and wanted to say a blessing to Lai Mu. They also hoped that everything would go well for Lai Mu this time and that everything would go well. Done well. Some came over and talked to Lai Mu jokingly, some talked to Lai Mu seriously, and some were even more serious. Lai Mu must do things right this time. Yes, Lai Mu, we really believe in you. Yes, Lai Mu, you are so powerful, we believe you will get things done. Seeing them talking sentence by sentence made Lai Mu feel happy. Lai Mu also knew that this was all arranged by Sengoku Admiral. Lai Mu looked around, and what he was looking for was none other than Kizaru. I was curious if Kizaru came to the cafeteria to eat. Sengoku Admiral saw Lai Mu looking around and knew that Lai Mu was looking for Kizaru. 8:30 You are not looking for that Kizaru, are you? Don't worry, I have asked the marine soldiers to invite him, and he will be here soon. Lai Mu smiled faintly, thinking that even if Kizaru came, he would not be able to communicate with him. I had already made the decision to protect him, so I had to ignore him. Just when Sengoku Admiral was about to take Lai Mu to sit there, a marine soldier also walked in from outside, came to Sengoku Admiral's side, and said directly. Sengoku Admiral, Kizaru said he won't come because he is not feeling well. Lai Mu was very worried when he heard that Kizaru was not feeling well. Lai Mu was wondering where he was feeling unwell. Lai Mu looked directly at Sengoku Admiral. Sengoku Admiral could understand what Lai Mu's eyes meant, closed his eyes and nodded. Don't worry, I will send a doctor to give him a good look now. You go find a place to sit down and eat something first. 152. I feel very disappointed when I can't see Kizaru Lai Mu. 152. I feel very disappointed when I can't see Kizaru Lai Mu. Seeing that Sengoku Admiral could understand what he was thinking, Lai Mu didn't need to worry about it anymore. He went directly over there and planned to chat and eat something with the other marine soldiers. Sengoku Admiral also made a call to the doctor at marine headquarters, and the doctor went directly to Kizaru's dormitory. Kizaru was sitting in the dormitory, having packed his things and looking out the window at the scenery outside. Just when he was lost in thought, he heard a loud knock on the door. He was very curious about who it was and shouted loudly. Who is that? I'm a doctor at marine headquarters. Open the door. I heard that you're not feeling well. I'm here to check you out. Hearing the doctor coming from outside, Kizaru wondered if it was arranged by Sengoku Admiral. Kizaru quickly stood up and opened the door. I'm not feeling too uncomfortable, I just don't want to eat. Just go back and don't bother me. Seeing that Kizaru was fine, the doctor from the marine headquarters nodded and left directly. After the doctor left, he still had to report Kizaru's condition to Sengoku Admiral. In this case, he could be considered as having been to Kizaru's room. Sengoku Admiral's phone rang, and Sengoku Admiral answered the call immediately. How about Kizaru? Is there nothing wrong with him? Nothing happened, he just said he didn't want to eat. Seeing that Kizaru just didn't want to eat, Sengoku Admiral knew that it must have a lot to do with Lai Mu. He knew that he might meet Lai Mu when he came to the cafeteria tonight, and when he asked the marine soldiers to tell him, he wanted to invite Lai Mu Qingxi. Maybe he didn't want to come face to face with Lai Mu, so he didn't want to come. Sengoku Admiral hung up the phone immediately, but Lai Mu looked at him anxiously, wanting to know how Kizaru was doing now. How about Sengoku Admiral, Kizaru? Is he okay? Has the doctor checked him? Does he need any medicine? Seeing Lai Mu asking worriedly, Sengoku Admiral shook his head. Don't worry, there's nothing wrong. Maybe I just don't have much appetite, so I didn't come to the cafeteria to eat. Seeing that Kizaru was fine, Lai Mu was really relieved. After eating, Lai Mu said with a smile. Sengoku Admiral, I will go back to the dormitory and rest early. After all, I have to go to sea tomorrow. I need to have a good rest and be fully prepared. Sengoku Admiral nodded and naturally agreed that Lai Mu should return to the room to rest as soon as possible. Go Lai Mu, rest early, I will wait for you on the coast tomorrow morning, and then take you to the boat personally. Lai Mu stood up and left the cafeteria. After returning to the dormitory, Lai Mu couldn't sleep. Looking out the window, the sky was already dark, and there were some starlights creeping up to Kuchenshang. Lai Mu knew that he would leave the marine headquarters in Marineford tomorrow. Although he and Kizaru would see the same sky, one was at the sea and the other was at the marine headquarters. I don't know if my trip to sea will be smoother this time, and whether I can successfully complete this mission. I believe in myself very much, but I am afraid that someone will interfere with it and make it less smooth for me. But he was very happy because he could keep Kizaru safe. After looking out the window for a while, Lai Mu closed the window, lay on the bed, and fell asleep. Early the next morning, the red sun climbed up from the sea level, and the sky gradually became brighter. The marine soldiers all got up to have breakfast and then train. After Lai Mu woke up, washed up and ran to the cafeteria. When he came to the cafeteria, he still didn't see Kizaru. Lai Mu felt a little disappointed, thinking that he was leaving soon and wouldn't even be able to see Kizaru. Kizaru actually woke up a long time ago. He woke up when it was just dawn. When they came to the coast where Lai Mu and the others were going to go to sea, there were 4 or 5 marine soldiers guarding the ship, but Kizaru really avoided them and didn't let them find him. He even got on board directly. The ship was hidden in the warehouse under the plywood. Today is an important day, and Sengoku Admiral woke up relatively early. Sengoku Admiral came to the cafeteria, saw Lai Mu, and waved to him. Lai Mu also smiled and nodded to Sengoku Admiral. Sengoku Admiral came to Lai Mu and said with a smile, "How about Lai Mu, did you sleep well last night?" "Yes, Sengoku Admiral slept well, don't worry." Seeing that Lai Mu said that he slept well, Sengoku Admiral no longer had to worry about any symptoms. I went to the cafeteria window, ordered some food, and sat there with Lai Mu and started eating together. After breakfast, all the marine soldiers, including Akainu, gathered on the coast. Point 153. Akainu wants to get close to Lai Mu. 153. Akainu wants to get close to Lai Mu. Everyone stood together in a team, holding their equipment, some food and other equipment in their hands, and they had already put them on the boat. Several marine soldiers came to Sengoku Admiral and saluted Sengoku Admiral. "Sengoku Admiral, we have done everything. Now we are waiting for Lai Mu to take us on board the ship and prepare to go to sea." Seeing several marine soldiers returning their lives to him, Sengoku Admiral nodded with satisfaction. He looked at Lai Mu again and stretched out his hands to hug Lai Mu. "Lai Mu, I wish you all the rest." Sengoku Admiral gave himself such a blessing. Lai Mu nodded and patted Sengoku Admiral on the back. "Don't worry, Sengoku Admiral, I will definitely take care of this matter. Just wait for my victorious return." After Lai Mu spoke, he looked around on the beach again, but still didn't see Kizaru. He smiled lonely, knowing that he might not be able to see Kizaru when he left. He didn't plan to wait any longer. He couldn't waste the time of other marine soldiers. He should let them follow him out to sea as soon as possible. "Come on, let's get on the boat." After Lai Mu gave the order, he took the marine soldiers and Akainu and walked to the ship. Sengoku Admiral also looked around and didn't see Kizaru on the beach. He was wondering if Kizaru was in the dormitory. It seemed that he should send Lai Mu's letter to him soon. It is estimated that as soon as he reads the letter, the misunderstanding between the two of them will be resolved. After Lai Mu returns from the sea and completes Ohara's mission, the two of them will definitely reconcile. Lai Mu got on the boat, waved to Sengoku Admiral on the beach, and got directly into the cabin. The 2 marine soldiers driving the boat started the boat, the whistle of the boat was whining, the sails were propped up, and the boat began to move forward, gradually moving away from the beach. Lai Mu sat in the cabin and looked at the drawings. He wanted to master the route, and when the time came, he would give instructions to the marine soldiers driving the ship, telling them which way they should take and which way they should not take. Akainu saw Lai Mu looking at the drawings so seriously, and sat next to Lai Mu, planning to have a chat with him. "Lai Mu, let's look at the drawings together. I can also discuss with you which way to go." Lai Mu glanced at him, really unwilling to discuss with him, because this time he held the golden phone bug, and he should obey him in everything. Who is he? Even the silver phone bug himself as nothing was taught to him. "Akainu, just go out and help me check the wind direction. You are not needed for the route." Seeing that Lai Mu didn't need him, Akainu pouted, but still didn't want to leave, and wanted to tell Lai Mu that his strength was still okay. "Lai Mu, I know that you have never gone to sea with me. Before, you were with Porsalino and Kizaru, but my strength is also good. Just trust me and let the two of us discuss it together." "Right," Akainu said enthusiastically. Seeing that he was still chattering in her ear, Lai Mu wondered why he couldn't understand the words. She had given him face, but did she really want to tell him once that the power was in her own hands? He must listen to himself. "Akainu, are you pretending to be confused, or do you really not understand? Just do what I say, because the golden phone bug is in my hand, and no matter who it is, you should listen to me." Seeing Lai Mu telling him clearly, Akainu knew that Lai Mu was trying to burn bridges. She flattered him so much and helped him clean up the house, but now that he was out at sea, he actually gave himself such a look. Akainu was unwilling to flatter anyone, so he stood up and left directly. After seeing him leave, Lai Mu felt that he had really calmed down a lot and could let himself take a look at the drawings in peace. After looking at it, Lai Mu noticed that the drawing showed several smaller islands. It seemed that their ship should really go around it, otherwise the road between the two islands would be a bit narrow. The boat is between stops, which is really difficult to get through. Lai Mu stood up, took the blueprint and left the cabin. He also rushed to the bow of the ship, and then explained a few words to the marine soldiers driving the ship. Coming to the cockpit, Lai Mu directly placed the drawings in front of them. Did you see it? Above this drawing, a few hundred meters away, there are two smaller islands. Although there is a small road in the middle, if we pass through the middle, it will really take our boat to it's stuck there, so we have to take a detour. After hearing Lai Mu's suggestion of taking a detour, the two marine soldiers who sailed the boat did not agree. They felt that it would really waste a lot of fuel. Point 154. Akainu's opinion is not good. 154. Akainu's opinion is not good. The equipment they brought was limited. If they consumed too much fuel, a lot of their things would be wasted. The equipment was wasted before they reached the place where they wanted to complete the mission. So can they really win and complete Ohara's mission? Is it really okay for Lai Mu to do this? Lai Mu could hear that the two of them were questioning his own ideas, but he also gave his orders. Didn't they intend to obey? Just do as I say. Lai Mu put down these words and left directly. The relationship between the two marine soldiers who sailed the boat was really good with Akainu. They had often gone to sea together before. This time it was the first time for them to follow Lai Mu, which made them somewhat dissatisfied with Lai Mu's attitude. Why are you saying that Lai Mu is so arrogant? Is it just because it has a golden phone bug on its hand that it is so awesome? Forget it, let's just listen to him. How can that be done? I'm going to tell Akainu this idea. Akainu is a vice admiral after all, and he followed him this time to help him. Akainu should be allowed to remind him of the two directions in his ear. One of the marine soldiers stood up and planned to find Akainu and have a good talk with Akainu. Akainu stood alone on the deck, looking at the blue water and the sea breeze, feeling particularly unhappy. At this time, he heard a noise on the deck behind him, turned around and saw a marine soldier he knew walking towards him. What's wrong? What's going on? Yes, Akainu, there is one thing I want to tell you. Seeing that the marine soldier was coming to tell him something, Akainu nodded slowly. He also lay in Akainu's ear and quietly told Akainu what had just happened. After Akainu heard this, he thought that he had to inform Lai Mu. Don't use all the equipment by then. Let's see how he can complete this mission. Don't worry, I will go and give him a good talk. I can't let him think that with the golden phone bug in his hand, he should obey him on everything. Akainu left the deck directly and went to the cabin. When he saw Lai Mu returning to the cabin, sitting there and continuing to study the drawings, he came directly to Lai Mu's side. Lai Mu, I heard that you just asked the two marine soldiers to take a detour. Do you know that even though it is a small island, how much fuel will it cost to take a detour? Do we have enough? If it's not enough to reach the location of Ohara's mission, then you won't be able to complete the mission, and you won't even be able to reach the location. That's really embarrassing. Lai Mu sat there and slowly raised his head, looking at Akainu with questioning eyes. He really didn't expect that Akainu would be so bold. Although he and he are on an equal footing and both hold the position of vice admiral, he does not allow him to talk about himself like this. Akainu, who asked you to talk about me like this? Didn't I tell you? I have a golden phone bug in my hand, and this is what I have thought about deeply. How could it be possible that we would not be allowed to reach our destination? We have completed our mission, so you don't have to worry about it. Please give me flowers. Seeing that Lai Mu didn't need to worry about it, Akainu thought that since he had followed him, he had to worry about it. And he wanted to complete Ohara's mission before, but now that he is here, he must follow Lai Mu to get things done. If Lai Mu did something wrong, he should also help and give suggestions. Why are you, Lai Mu, so domineering? Can't you even give me an opinion? Yes, no, that's what I am, and the advice you give is really not good, so why should I listen to it? Akainu was very dissatisfied when he saw Lai Mu treating him like this. He directly raised his fist and wanted to swing it at Lai Mu. Lai Mu also stretched out his palm and placed it on his fist. If you still want to resist, it seems that I should send you a small boat to get you back to the Marine headquarters in Marineford as soon as possible. You seem to be a little unsuitable to work by my side. Follow me to complete this task. Hearing that Lai Mu was rushing to leave, Akainu shouted loudly, I won't leave. I must complete the mission this time. Lai Mu glared at him and snorted a few times, feeling that even if it was completed, it would be the honor he got. What does it have to do with him? It seems that he is really a bit conceited. Opening square bracket. 01101201502020000490. In just 2 words, Lai Mu wanted to send Akainu away. Go away, get out of this cabin quickly, and go check out the wind direction. Have you done what I just told you to do? Seeing Lai Mu's superior attitude, Akainu left the cabin directly. Point 155. Marine soldiers obey Akainu's orders. Amazing video. 155. Marine soldiers obey Akainu's orders. He thought that the two marine soldiers in the cockpit had a really good relationship with him, and he hoped that they would obey his orders obediently. Just follow the path and don't take detours. As long as the path passed, Lai Mu had nothing to say, and he went directly to the cockpit. The two marines who got along better with Akainu met Akainu and greeted him warmly. Akainu, why are you here? Yes, I have something to tell you too, and I hope you can listen to me. 260. Saw that Akainu needed them to obey Akainu, and the two of them were really curious about what was going on. Akainu, if you have something to say, just say it. Didn't Lai Mu just tell you to take a detour? I hope you two will just go along the path. As long as the few of us cross that path, we can also go and give Lai Mu a good look. The decision we made is also correct. The marine soldiers hesitated for a while. They didn't know whether they should obey Akainu, because this time they should obey Lai Mu's command. If you obey Akainu, does that count as disobedience? Akainu was really worried when he saw that the two marine soldiers he got along well with were silent. What am I saying? You two had such a good relationship with me before, why can't you just listen to me? I believe that you can pass through that path. It has been written on the drawing, and the width of the path must also be wider. With the width of our ship, I believe we can definitely pass it. Seeing that Akainu's idea was so determined, the two of them nodded, intending to follow Akainu's advice, and also wanted Lai Mu to take a good look at it. The decision he made may not be correct. Okay Akainu, this time we will listen to you and go through that path, don't worry. Seeing that they agreed to him, Akainu was very happy, thinking what would happen even if Lai Mu had a golden phone bug. As long as they were marine soldiers who had a good relationship with him, they should still listen to him. Lai Mu was in the cabin and did not let down her guard for a moment. In the past, he had completed tasks with Porcelino and Kizaru, and usually he really didn't need to do anything by himself. They are the ones who consider some things, and whenever powerful pirates appear, they will take action to solve them. But this time is different. He not only goes to sea with strength, but also with power, and he has to command so many marine soldiers. He must give up this matter. Go back and give Sengoku Admiral a long face and give everyone a good look. After looking at the drawings for a while, Lai Mu felt that his eyes hurt a little, so he put the drawings aside, closed his eyes, and rested for a while. With his eyes closed, Lai Mu didn't let his mind rest. He was thinking that he asked Akainu to go out to explore the wind direction, why hasn't he come back yet? It seems that he is still unwilling to listen to his own words, and he is really unwilling to instruct him to do something, so he just treats him as if he is nothing. Kizaru, who was hiding in the warehouse below the deck, felt really bored. He was wondering when and where he could go out to see Ram. Does it mean that I have to hide here until I reach Ohara's destination? Sengoku Admiral, the marine headquarters in Marineford, searched everywhere for Kizaru but couldn't find it. This made him really confused. Could it be that Lai Mu left and Kizaru disappeared out of thin air? Hurry up and look for Kizaru and see where he went. Sengoku Admiral ordered many marine soldiers to start searching at Marineford's headquarters. However, no trace of Kizaru was seen in the dormitory cafeteria, or some other places, or on the beach, which made everyone puzzled as to where the Kizaru had gone. Akainu stood outside and checked the wind direction for a while, wanting to go in and talk to Lai Mu. When he came in, he saw Lai Mu's eyes closed. He thought Lai Mu was asleep, which made him very dissatisfied. I feel that Lai Mu is really not qualified to lead them to complete this mission, and now he is hiding in the cabin and sleeping soundly. Could it be that we just need to let the marine soldiers put in their hard work, while Lai Mu enjoys it alone in the shipyard? 0.0. Lai Mu, that golden phone bug is not worthy of being placed in your hands. You are so carefree and happy, and you are sleeping soundly in the cabin alone. Lai Mu slowly opened his eyes, wondering which of his eyes saw him sleeping soundly. After all, he was just looking at the drawings for a little longer. Could it be that he can't even close his eyes and rest? Why can't you just close your eyes and relax for a while? Akainu really didn't believe that Lai Mu just closed his eyes and went to rest for a while. He felt that Lai Mu was just sleeping. He felt that Lai Mu was a bit hypocritical. He had already done this and he didn't dare to admit it. You can read more daily new novels on fictionzone.net. Both sites shared the same login details so you don't need to sign up again. 156. The boat got stuck in the path. 156. The boat got stuck in the path. Lai Mu, you just slept, and you don't dare to admit it. You are really such a coward. Seeing him calling him a coward, Lai Mu immediately stood up and glared at him angrily. Please close your mouth. If I am really fast asleep and you come in to talk, how could I open my eyes immediately? How did you do what I asked you to do? Okay, have you figured out the wind direction? Seeing that Lai Mu brought up the matter of the wind direction again, Akainu thought that he would naturally get things done, unlike Lai Mu who did one thing in front of his face and another behind his back. He was serious in front of everyone and seemed to complete all the tasks, but behind his back he actually slept there. Seeing him pouting and not answering his own words, Lai Mu thought that if it stuck out, it would stick out, and if it didn't stick out, it wouldn't stick out. She hoped that he could give herself a happy word. I felt very disgusted when I saw his face, and hoped that he would tell me and leave here immediately. Have you done things well? If not, you should continue to explore the direction of the wind. Seeing Lai Mu asking him another question, Akainu bumped his face to the side. Of course I have detected it. The wind direction is very good now, and we are tailwind. We are rushing to the destination. If the wind direction is abnormal, I will come and tell you. Akainu spoke directly and left. After seeing him leave, Lai Mu thought that he really should lie down and rest. He could say whatever he wanted to. I really don't care about other people's gossip, I just need to be myself. Lai Mu went directly to his bed, lay there and fell asleep. On the sea, Lai Mu's boat sailed very fast, and they would reach the two small islands in a short time. The two marine soldiers listened to Akainu's advice and went directly to the path without intending to take a detour. They drove the boat and entered the path first. Everything was smooth and they were about to cross the path. The two marine soldiers felt that Akainu was right. Now they have used their own strength to prove that their decision was correct. They will give Lai Mu a good look later. The two people continued to drive forward, but as they drove they found that the road ahead was blocked, with many large rocks blocking the narrow road. The two of them didn't know what to do. The boat seemed unable to turn around. The two of them could only park the boat there. They didn't know if they should report it to Lai Mu immediately. Lai Mu slept soundly and slowly opened his eyes. He really wanted to go out and see where they were now. He left his cabin directly, and when he came to the deck, he noticed that they were on a small road, not a large and wide ocean, but there were some small island stone walls on both sides. Lai Mu was thinking about the advice she gave him. Didn't they listen? Did they still take this path? Lai Mu left the deck and rushed to the cockpit immediately. Seeing the two marine soldiers who were already at a loss and worrying there, Lai Mu said loudly. Did you two take a small path? The two marine soldiers were really startled by the sound from behind, and they immediately bumped into each other. They didn't expect that Rem was standing in front of them. Seeing Lai Mu questioning them, the two didn't know how to answer. Lai Mu saw rocks in front of them and blocked their boat. This made Lai Mu so angry that he didn't know what to say. I feel that this time I have the power and command them to do things. Why can't they obey me? I said who allowed you two to change my decision. Now the boat is stuck here. Let me see how you two can turn the boat around and get back to the original road. Wouldn't this cost more fuel? Seeing Lai Mu scolding the two of them also felt a little aggrieved. It was all because they were hot-headed and listened to Akainu's words. I really hope that Lai Mu can forgive them. Lai Mu, we know we were wrong, please forgive us, we won't do it next time. Yeah, it's all because Akainu encouraged us both just now and asked us to obey him. Hearing the two of them say that they had just followed Akainu's idea made Lai Mu even more angry. Lai Mu wondered if they didn't understand that it was him who was commanding them this time. Why did they still listen to Akainu? I think you are really confused. You should be punished properly, but you actually obey Akainu. Does Akainu have a golden phone bug in his hand? Is he worthy of telling you to do things? You really let me down. Quote. As Lai Mu said, he left here directly, also planning to think carefully about how to leave this narrow road and return to the larger road for medical treatment. Point 157. Lai Mu needs Kizaru's help. Amazing video. 0/447. 157. Lai Mu needs Kizaru's help. Even if they waste some gas, they still have to get out of here. They can't stay stuck like this forever, leaving them with no way to move forward, let alone retreat. Kizaru was really hungry under the warehouse, and wanted to look around for some food. After rummaging around for a while, he really made a mess inside, making a lot of noise. Some marine soldiers heard some noises on the deck and in the warehouse below. They were very curious about what was underneath. Don't let the water leak or there were some fish that gnawed at the bottom of the boat. Then they should know. They arrived at the warehouse one by one and planned to search it. They happened to see a figure flipping through things randomly. The marine soldiers immediately raised the equipment in their hands and shouted angrily. Who is it? Come here quickly. Kizaru was really unhappy. He didn't find anything to eat, but he was discovered by someone. There is really no point in hiding now. I can only face these marine soldiers. He slowly turned around and smiled at the marine soldiers at the door. It's me, Kizaru. When they heard that it was Kizaru, the marine soldiers naturally didn't believe it. They were thinking that this time Sengoku Admiral issued an order for them to follow Lai Mu to complete the mission. Kizaru was not on the list at all, so how could it be possible? Several people rushed in and dragged Kizaru out. Because it was dark inside, they couldn't see clearly. After being dragged out, they were shocked and didn't expect it was actually Kizaru. They were thinking that Kizaru had violated some orders and followed him like this. Isn't he afraid of being punished? Kizaru is really you. Yes, Kizaru, why are you following me? Seeing them questioning him, Kizaru didn't want to explain too much, but at this time he saw a figure walking in front of him. It was none other than Lai Mu, his close friend whom he had longed for. He quickly stopped Lai Mu and wanted to meet him face to face. Gold. Rice chicken. Hearing this voice, Lai Mu felt extremely familiar and immediately turned around. Unexpectedly, the person next to her was Kizaru, with several marine soldiers following her. Lai Mu looked at Kizaru with a surprised face. Kizaru knew that Lai Mu must have many doubts as to why he was on this boat. But he could also tell that there seemed to be something worrying between Lai Mu's eyebrows. What's wrong, Lai Mu? What happened? Lai Mu had gone to sea with Kizaru before. He knew that Kizaru's sailing skills were quite good. It seemed that he really needed Kizaru's help now and let him see if he could get out of this narrow road. Lai Mu directly pulled up Kizaru and planned to rush to the cockpit. Being dragged along by Lai Mu like this, Kizaru was really curious about what Lai Mu was going to do. He used all his strength to pull his hand back. Lai Mu, what do you mean? Are you saying you want to send a boat to take me back? Seeing Kizaru asking himself, Lai Mu shook his head. No, Kizaru, now we are encountering some difficulties and we have to ask you to help, so please follow me to the cockpit quickly. Kizaru didn't expect that Lai Mu was really in trouble. He nodded and didn't ask any more questions. He followed Lai Mu one after another to the cockpit. The two marine soldiers in the cockpit were also stunned. They did not expect that Kizaru would actually appear on the ship. Lai Mu, why are Kizaru here? The two marine soldiers asked in unison. Although they asked, Lai Mu was unwilling to answer them. I think it's best for them to get out of the way and let Kizaru take control of the ship. Quote. You two get out of the way and let Kizaru sail the boat. Quote. After hearing Lai Mu's instructions, the two marine soldiers thought that Sengoku Admiral had already told them to sail the boat, so why did Lai Mu hand over this matter to Huang Yuan now? The two of them didn't agree with each other, so they still sat in their seats without getting up. Seeing that they didn't get up, Lai Mu shouted angrily at you. How come you two are sitting here? Can you really push the boat back? Get up quickly. If you don't get up, I will throw you two into the sea to feed the sharks. Quote. Seeing Lai Mu getting angry, the two of them were so frightened that they could only stand up slowly and leave their positions. Kizaru sat there. Lai Mu sat next to Kizaru, and Jia Yuan looked at Lai Mu. How about Lai Mu? What difficulties are you encountering now? Tell me quickly and see how I can help you. Lai Mu nodded and directly hung the drawing in front of Kizaru. Did you see it? We are now on the path between the two islands. Although the width of the path is wider than our boat, it is because of the frequent beating of the seawater or violent storms that these two small rocks rolled down from the island. 158. Kizaru takes control of the ship himself. 158. Kizaru takes control of the ship himself. It's blocking our way. We have no way to move forward from this path. See if you can go back and take a detour. Seeing Lai Mu saying this to herself, Kizaru took the drawing over and looked at it carefully. He thought he could only give it a try. It would be best if he could help Lai Mu. If he couldn't help, it would be considered as his best effort. Lai Mu, let me try and see if I can back the boat back to the original fork in the road and take the detour again like you said. Lai Mu nodded, believing in Kizaru's strength. It also went to sea with Kizaru and knew how much Kizaru weighed. I hope Kizaru can help me. Please Kizaru. Seeing Lai Mu asking her sincerely, Kizaru nodded and patted Lai Mu on the shoulder. Don't worry, this is also the first time you have directed everyone to complete a mission. How could I let you down? Don't worry, I will definitely try my best to exit 397, and then let our ship proceed forward safely and without error. Seeing Kizaru speaking so confidently, the two marine soldiers standing aside were thinking, does Kizaru really have this ability? They really didn't believe it. The two of them didn't want to stay in the cockpit anymore. They wanted to go to the deck to see how Kizaru did this. Kizaru naturally had his own way. He pressed a button to make their ship move backwards one after another. Lai Mu knew that it was easy to sail the boat forward, but it was really difficult to reverse the boat, so the boat was steadily tipping backward. The two marine soldiers standing on the deck did not expect that Kizaru's strength really opened their eyes. He could actually tip the ship over as if he was driving it. Not only is it extremely stable, but the speed doesn't seem to slow down much. Akainu was sleeping soundly in his cabin. He always felt that the ship seemed to be moving backwards, not moving forward. After he slowly opened his eyes, he felt that his head was also dizzy. Sitting up, he wanted to go out and take a look to see how the boat sailed and whether it had ever driven on this small road. If you cross this path, you will really feel proud in front of Lai Mu. After going out, he saw the two marine soldiers he got along with better standing on the deck, and the ship was really going backwards. Akainu was stunned. He was wondering what happened just now, so he hurried to the two marine soldiers. Next to a marine soldier. What's wrong? Why are you here? Why aren't you sailing the ship? Who is in control of the ship now? Seeing Akainu asking questions one by one, the two of them pouted, thinking that they were scolded like dogs by Lai Mu just because they obeyed Akainu. The two of them are really unwilling to talk to Akainu and don't want to answer his words. Seeing that the two of them were not talking, Akainu became anxious. Akainu thought BFCJ that it didn't matter if they didn't talk. He could really go to the cockpit and take a good look. Akainu glared at the two of them and hurried to the cockpit. When I came to the cockpit, I really saw Lai Mu and Kizaru sitting there. He was thinking that Kizaru was not on the list this time. Why would Kizaru appear on this ship now? Kizaru, why are you on this ship? Akainu asked questioningly. Kizaru still controlled the boat seriously, intending to help Lai Mu exit this path. When Lai Mu heard Akainu's voice, he stood up immediately. He didn't want Akainu to affect Kizaru, so he pulled him out directly. Seeing Lai Mu pulling her, Akainu also shook off Lai Mu's hand. What happened to Lai Mu? Do you also know that Kizaru came with us? And why didn't you take the path? Lai Mu was thinking about what he was doing just now. Didn't he know that they were stuck there? Is there no way to move on? Lai Mu's eyes were fixed on him, just to see if he knew he was wrong. Akainu saw Lai Mu staring at him without saying a word. He was wondering what Lai Mu meant. Could it be that he had become mute? Why Lai Mu, why are you staring at me? I asked you a question, but you answered it. You are the leader and I am the leader. Why should I answer your words? And I said that your opinions are not very good. Do you know, we have been stuck just now and there is no way to continue. Moving forward, this will really cost us a lot of fuel. Who do you think will bear this responsibility? Seeing Lai Mu say this to himself, Akainu really didn't expect that the path was stuck, and he really didn't expect that such a thing would happen. He wanted to explain, but Lai Mu didn't want to listen and left him directly. Point 159. Lai Mu teaches the Marines rules. 159. Lai Mu teaches the Marines rules. Lai Mu returned to the cockpit and saw that Kizaru was still controlling the ship seriously. Lai Mu was really relieved about everything. He knew that Kizaru would definitely help him get out of this path. About a while later, Lai Mu, Kizaru and the two of them could hear some marine soldiers cheering outside. Great, we finally exit this path. Yeah, we can take a detour. Hearing what these people outside said to each other, Lai Mu thought that he should really let Kizaru dock the ship for a while, and then go out to chat with the marine soldiers. Kizaru, please help me dock the boat for a while. I want to go out and have a few words with them. Seeing Lai Mu ordering him, Kizaru nodded. Go ahead and I will help you stop the boat temporarily. Kizaru pressed the button again, and the boat stayed close to the edge of the island. This was considered safer, and it didn't matter if it stopped for a while. Lai Mu walked out directly from the cockpit. After all the marine soldiers saw Lai Mu coming out, they all looked at Lai Mu with a smile. Lai Mu cleared his throat and said, "This time I will take you out to sea to complete Ohara's mission. I hope you can understand a few things. The golden phone bug is in my hand. The 5 elders of the World War Palace have entrusted the matter to me, so you can do everything. You should listen to me. Don't just listen to other people's instigation, do you understand? If you make a mistake then, you will be punished when you return to Marine headquarters." After Lai Mu said so much, the 2 marine soldiers who had just sailed the boat were very ashamed and lowered their heads slowly, not knowing what to say. Akainu knew that Lai Mu was talking about him, the 2 marine soldiers who got along better with him. But now I still have to ask him why Kizaru followed him. Should he also receive some paintings? Or should he send 10 small boats to send Kizaru back? Lai Mu, what about Kizaru? He's not on the list, why did he come here? I think he should also be punished. Lai Mu understands what Akainu means. He has a better relationship with Kizaru. He can't hurt himself, but he wants to hurt the people around him. But who am I? Now that I have not only rights but also strength, I will never let anyone around me get hurt in any way. Kizaru followed here and violated the rules. But without him this time, we really may not be able to exit from that path. It can be regarded as making up for it. After returning, I will let him go to Sengoku Admiral. Please forgive me and you won't have to worry about this matter. After what Lai Mu said, his eyes looked at the marine soldiers in front of him. Which of you is better at driving a boat? Let 2 of you follow Kizaru to the cockpit and take control of our boat. 2 marines stood up and raised their hands. Lai Mu, let's go, we want to give it a try. Seeing that Lai Mu wanted to arrange the matter to others, Akainu stepped forward again and wanted to speak for the 2 marine soldiers. Lai Mu, how can you do this? Sengoku Admiral has already given instructions on who will control this ship. Why do you want to change the rules now? Please give me flowers. Lai Mu really couldn't imagine that he was so ignorant. He wanted to let the 2 marine soldiers continue to drive the boat, but they didn't obey his orders. Wasn't it considered against the rules? Of course someone needs to be replaced. I really don't want to use 2 marine soldiers who disobey orders like this, so as long as you are obedient, obey orders, and do your job well, I will naturally not change Sengoku Admiral's previous decision. Come down. Oh. Lai Mu put down these words and returned to the cockpit with the 2 marine soldiers who volunteered. Kizaru, I leave everything to you. I just selected these 2 marines. You can command them and continue sailing the ship. Seeing Lai Mu speaking, Kizaru nodded with a smile. Don't worry Lai Mu, I will command them. Lai Mu had other things to deal with and was about to leave the cockpit, but Kizaru stopped Lai Mu again. Lai Mu, wait. Seeing Kizaru calling him, Lai Mu slowly turned around. He knew that he and Kizaru had a lot to say to each other, and it seemed that the 2 of them really should have a chat. Why don't you want to talk to me? Then go to Shen Zhao's place. The 2 people walked out of the cockpit one after another and stood on the deck looking at the blue water, blowing the slight sea breeze. No one knew who should speak first. Kizaru thought it was up to him to speak, and wanted to apologize to Lai Mu, so he followed him secretly. Point 160. Akainu frequently disturbs Lai Mu. Amazing video. 0/447. 160. Akainu frequently disturbs Lai Mu. Lai Mu, you won't be angry if I boarded your ship quietly like this, right? Lai Mu shook his head. How could he be angry with Kizaru? He felt that Kizaru just followed him, which solved his urgent need. You really helped me. I really won't be angry with you. Lai Mu was not angry with him, and Kizaru was really relieved. Lai Mu, I know it's not good for me to follow you quietly like this, and you don't want me to be your helper, but I know you should still have me as your friend in your heart. I just don't understand why. 167 inches don't you need my help? Kizaru has already followed, so why should Lai Mu continue to hide it from him now? She should still tell him the truth. Kizaru, I don't let you follow me. It's my reason. Think about why the 5 elders of the World War Palace asked me to complete Ohara's mission first, and then return to the Marine headquarters in Marineford to send the Golden Lion to impel down. Quote. They changed their routine like this, and I feel that something is not good. I am afraid that I will be harmed during the sea trip, and if you are implicated, it will be bad if you die with me. You are such a good friend of mine and you protect me so much, how could I be willing to involve you? Seeing Lai Mu say this, Kizaru understood everything. It seemed that Lai Mu was really thinking about himself. I hope Lai Mu will not be like this again in the future. If something happens, everyone should face it together. Lai Mu, if you really treat me as a good friend from now on, don't hide anything from me anymore. Do you know how uncomfortable I feel these days? Lai Mu smiled lightly, saying that he did this just because he regarded Kizaru as a good friend, not to mention that Kizaru felt uncomfortable in his heart, and he also felt uncomfortable in his heart. Don't worry, Kizaru, I won't hide anything from you anymore. By the way, you must be uncomfortable hiding under that warehouse. Otherwise, go back to the cabin and take a rest. Take a break. Quote. Kizaru shook his head, feeling that there was no misunderstanding between him and Lai Mu. He felt particularly good and did not want to rest. Lai Mu, I'm really not too tired. I'll go to the cockpit and give good command to the 2 marine soldiers. You can go about your business. Lai Mu thought well and left Kizaru's side directly, returning to his cabin. Akainu still felt a little unhappy in his heart. He was wondering how he could get rid of Lai Mu. As long as Lai Mu is eliminated, everything will probably go more smoothly. At this time, it began to rain lightly in the sky, and the rainwater also poured on the deck of the ship. Seeing that it was raining lightly, Akainu felt that he should really go back to the cabin. Just after taking 2 steps, I accidentally fell. I didn't expect that the deck would be so slippery after it rained. If Lai Mu slipped on the deck and fell directly into the sea, would he have succeeded? Thinking of this, Akainu really became happy. He ran directly to the cabin and came to Lai Mu's cabin door. He knocked on the door and heard the knocking outside. Lai Mu was very curious about who it was and asked loudly. Who is that? Lai Mu is me, Akainu. Hearing that it was Akainu, Lai Mu wondered why this guy came to his cabin again and what was going on, which made Lai Mu hesitate whether to open the door for him. After all, Lai Mu really didn't want to see his face. Seeing him made Lai Mu feel a little upset. Lai Mu just asked himself, but did not come to open the door for him immediately. Akainu was really anxious. Lai Mu, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have been so angry with you just now. I'm here to apologize to you. Lai Mu didn't need his apology, she just wanted him to leave. I don't need you to apologize, just do your part and leave as soon as possible. After Lai Mu said this, he continued to be busy with what he was doing. Seeing that he was shut out, Akainu was thinking about what he should do to let Lai Mu open the door, or to lure Lai Mu out. Woolen cloth. Lai Mu, I am here to apologize to you sincerely. Just come out and meet me. Lai Mu 5.1 was thinking that he really had no end, so he asked Lai Mu to stand up and open the door. Then go ahead and tell me how sorry you are, and then leave my door as soon as possible. Seeing Lai Mu open the door, Akainu knew that he had to say sorry. Lai Mu, I'm sorry, I know I was wrong. After hearing what he said, Lai Mu slammed the door shut. Akainu did not expect that Lai Mu would do something so resolutely, and quickly closed the door and let himself go. The words haven't been spoken yet. Point 161. Akainu reveals Fox Tail. 161. Akainu reveals Fox Tail. He just stood at Lai Mu's door in a daze, not knowing whether to leave or continue to persuade Lai Mu to open the door. After standing there in a daze for a while, Akainu came to his senses and knocked on the door again. When Lai Mu heard the knock on the door, he knew that Akainu did not leave the door of his room immediately, and said loudly outside. Why Akainu? I'm sorry you've already said it, what else do you want to do? Lai Mu, I just want to tell you that it's raining lightly outside. Do you want to go out and breathe the rainy sea air? Lai Mu thinks he is really interesting, and he is willing to let himself breathe the rainy air on the sea. How can I have so much time and energy now? I still have to research and find other routes. I hope he won't bother me again. I'm telling you Akainu, I don't have time, you'd better leave as soon as possible. He has been rejected time and time again, and Akainu really can't stand standing at the door of Lai Mu's cabin all the time. He can only hope that the light rain will last longer. As long as the descent lasts longer and the deck becomes more slippery, he will have a chance to attack Lai Mu. Lai Mu was sitting there still studying the route. At this time, his stomach growled. It seemed that he had never had a drink of water or even a little bit of food since he got on the boat. I still think about Kizaru helping me busy for a long time just now. I wonder if Kizaru is hungry now. It seems that I really should ask him. If he is hungry, the two of them can sit together and eat something. Lai Mu put down his drawings and left his cabin directly. After going out, he saw Akainu standing on the deck. Lai Mu ignored him and ran directly to the cockpit. However, Akainu could feel someone walking behind him. He immediately turned around and saw Lai Mu. Lai Mu, wait. Hearing him calling her again, Lai Mu really didn't want to look back. Lai Mu knew that if he didn't turn around and continued walking forward, he would definitely catch up with him. Lai Mu turned around slowly and looked at him. Isn't that apology enough? Do you still want to continue to say it to me? If you want to, just say it quickly. I will just stand here and listen carefully. Seeing Lai Mu mentioning that he was sorry again, Akainu shook his head. No, Lai Mu, didn't I apologize to you just now? I just wanted to ask your silver phone bug, when will you give it to me? Lai Mu knew that no matter what he did, it was all for the silver phone bug, but Lai Mu wanted to tell him. Just because he had just made 2 marine soldiers obey his orders, Lai Mu was very dissatisfied and also he would definitely not give the silver phone bug to him. Do you think what you are doing is really good? Just now you ordered the 2 marine soldiers to move forward through that path, but our ship was stuck. This makes me very dissatisfied. You now the silver phone bug is mentioned. No matter what, I will not give the silver phone bug to you. Seeing Lai Mu directly rejecting him and saying that he would not give it to him, Akainu really couldn't control his emotions. Lai Mu, why don't you give me the silver phone bug? Except for me, the rest are just marine soldiers. They really can't control the silver phone bug. I am a vice admiral, and if you don't hand over the helper you personally selected to me, who will you hand it over to? Will the task really be completed smoothly by then? Seeing him roaring at her, he was no longer as attentive as before, saying nice words and getting close to her, which made Lai Mu think that his fox tail was really exposed, and she could be regarded as treating him. His true face can be seen clearly. Lai Mu just kept staring at him like that. Akainu was wondering what Lai Mu meant and why he kept looking at him like this. Lai Mu, why don't you speak? You speak. Akainu shouted anxiously. Seeing him roar again, Lai Mu sneered a few times. Yo yo yo, I really didn't expect that you actually lost your temper with me when I said I wouldn't give you the silver phone bug. It seems that all the kindness you did to me before was just an act. It was all for the sake of the silver phone bug. Phone bug. Seeing Lai Mu reveal his true identity, Akainu didn't say a word, he just wanted to repeat what he just said, and wanted to tell Lai Mu that the silver phone bug must be handed over to him. Lai Mu, I have the strength, you must give me the silver phone bug. Seeing him ordering her, Lai Mu thought that he was not qualified and she didn't want to hear him. Lai Mu stopped talking and turned around to leave, but Akainu held Lai Mu back. Lai Mu, will you give it to me or not? Looking at his appearance, Lai Mu wondered if he was going to fight her. Why, Akainu, do you want to compete with me? 162. Lai Mu's feet are very powerful. 162. Lai Mu's feet are very powerful. Seeing that Lai Mu provoked him first, Akainu thought that he should have a good competition with Lai Mu, and maybe he could take the opportunity to push Lai Mu into the sea. Lai Mu disappeared, everyone should listen to themselves in everything. Let's have a competition and see who is better between the two of us today. Seeing that he really wanted to compete with himself, Lai Mu thought it was a good idea. At the Marine headquarters in Marineford, Sengoku Admiral was in charge of them. The two of them could not do anything illegal. If you do it, you will be punished. This time you are at sea, and you are here to command and complete this mission. Everyone will obey you in everything. Then I will compete with him now. I guess whoever returns will not complain to Sengoku Admiral. Well, today the two of us will have a test to see if you can really beat me. If you can beat me, I will hand over all the golden phone bugs to you. Let you direct us to complete this mission. Quote. Akainu stood there, really stunned by Lai Mu's words. He didn't expect that Lai Mu's bet would be so big. He just needed a silver phone bug, but he didn't expect that Lai Mu would actually use a golden phone bug to attract him. He thought that he would have a competition with Lai Mu. Okay Lai Mu, let's have a good competition between the two of you now. Lai Mu immediately clenched his fists, lowered one leg slightly, and arched the other leg slightly, getting ready for battle, and glared at Akainu. Seeing that Lai Mu was ready, Akainu pulled out a sharp knife from his waist and was about to swing it at Lai Mu. Akainu held the equipment in his hand, but Lai Mu was not timid at all. He felt that he didn't even need to use the equipment and could teach Akainu a lesson with his fists. Lai Mu knew that it had just started raining lightly outside and the deck must be extremely slippery, so Lai Mu's foot was firmly planted on the ground, and even when the foot was kicked out, the other foot was still stable. While standing, be sure not to let yourself slip. Akainu's sharp knife swung towards Lai Mu's neck. Lai Mu really didn't expect that this Akainu would be so vicious. Even if he competed with himself, he would still hurt his vitals. Lai Mu quickly lowered his head and squatted on the deck. Then he squatted firmly with one foot and raised the other foot. The kick was kicked out instantly and hit Akainu's knee directly. Akainu fell to the ground unsteadily due to some pain in his knee from being kicked, and the sharp knife was also dropped on the ground. Akainu didn't expect that Lai Mu just kicked him and he was knocked to the ground. Unconvinced, he immediately stood up again and swung a sharp knife and fork at Lai's body. He thought he had just swung it on Lai Mu's head, and Lai Mu squatted down, so he could swat it on Lai Mu's leg now. If Lai Mu's leg was injured and his foot slipped, he could really take advantage of the opportunity. Let Lai Mu fall into the sea. Akainu raised the sharp knife and rushed towards Lai Mu. His few steps were quite steady. Lai Mu knew that Akainu might be afraid of slipping and accidentally fell into the sea water. Lai Mu couldn't stand Akainu, but he didn't want to hurt him or let him accidentally fall into the sea. Therefore, Lai Mu has been avoiding him. When he rushed forward to fight against him, Lai Mu always held back. The moment Akainu rushed over, he swung the sharp knife towards Lai Mu's knees. Seeing that the sharp knife was about to slide towards his knees, Lai Mu could only stand on tiptoes and jump up. If he didn't jump, the sharp knife might have scratched his knee, which would definitely cause him a lot of pain, and even walking would be a little difficult. Now I can only give it a try, jump up, and see if I can dodge this sharp knife. The moment he jumped up, Lai Mu really jumped over the sharp knife paper. Lai Mu knew that if he stepped on the deck, he would definitely fall. Akainu might rush towards him even more, so he could only step on Akainu's sharp knife safely. Zhao Qian Zhao, the tip of his toes instantly stood on top of the sharp knife. When he fell from the top, he could be slightly slower. Lai Mu slowly landed on the deck, slipping slightly but still not falling. Akainu was thinking that he was about to succeed, but he didn't expect that Lai Mu still escaped and actually jumped up and stepped on his sharp knife. The speed of his fall became slower. Even if he stepped on the deck, he did not even fall. Seeing Akainu staring at him, Lai Mu really wanted to ask him if he wanted to continue competing. Quote. How about it? Do you want to continue competing? Lai Mu asked curiously. 163. Akainu never gives up. 163. Akainu never gives up. How could Akainu give up? He thought that he just fell down and it was okay to try again. Of course, I must compete with you and get the silver phone bug back. After saying this, he rushed towards Lai Mu again. Seeing that he still didn't give up, Lai Mu could only accompany him to continue playing. Lai Mu was now looking directly at Akainu, wondering where Akainu might hurt him. First, Akainu wanted to swing the sharp knife to his neck, and then to his knees. What next? Lai Mu's eyes never left Akainu's sharp knife, just staring at it. Akainu can also see what kind of thoughts Lai Mu has. He feels that Lai Mu really admires him in this regard, and it seems that he will never let up for a moment. It seems that he can only take advantage of the opportunity to hurt Lai Mu. Only in this way will he succeed. Otherwise, if Lai Mu is so powerful, it would be really impossible for him to defeat Lai Mu. He took the 350-meter sharp knife and swung it at Lai Mu's neck first. Lai Mu hurriedly squatted down, but Akainu became even more quick-sighted and quickly withdrew the knife and swung it at Lai Mu's knees. Lai Mu saw him swing towards his knee, and he seemed unable to jump up immediately, knowing that he might really be injured. But Lai Mu also has a life that refuses to admit defeat, so how could he be defeated by Akainu? Lai Mu felt that he still had to give it a try and see if he could turn somersault and kick his foot out again. In this case, not only will Akainu's sharp knife be kicked, but it may also cause Akainu to fall to the ground first. Even if he falls and fights, it doesn't matter. Lai Mu was slowly about to squat down. When the sharp knife came close to him, he used all his strength to do a somersault. BFCD, then he kicked forward again, and this foot directly clamped Akainu's sharp knife. Akainu was really surprised by Lai Mu's somersault. He didn't expect that Lai Mu could still make such a move on such a slippery deck, and now he had tightly clamped his sharp knife. Akainu thought that he should stab forward with all his strength now. He had no choice but to do this. He took the knife and stabbed forward, and Lai Mu could feel that the force was quite strong. Lai Mu concentrated all his strength on his feet and held them forward with all his strength. Lai Mu's strength instantly surpassed Akainu's, causing Akainu to take a few steps back with the sharp knife. He accidentally lost his footing and fell to the ground. At this time, Lai Mu also turned over and had no way to land slowly and smoothly on the deck, so he sat down on the ground. Although he was sitting on the ground, Lai Mu was not hurt. He quickly stood up and walked to Akainu's side. Do you want to continue the competition? Lai Mu asked again. Seeing Lai Mu asking himself, Akainu just glared at Lai Mu, hesitating whether he should continue to compete with Lai Mu. Seeing that he didn't speak, Lai Mu was really anxious, hoping that he could give him a happy word. Why were you so stubborn just now and wanted to compete with me to the end? Why don't you say anything now? Could it be that you are a little timid after seeing my strength? Seeing Lai Mu hitting him with these words again, Akainu slowly got up. Competition, I still want to continue to compete with you. Seeing that his idea was still so determined, Lai Mu knew that it would be difficult for him to change his mind for a while, so he should accompany him and continue to have fun. This time Lai Mu pulled out the sharp knife from his waist and swung it towards him. Lai Mu is usually very powerful without equipment, but now he is even more powerful with equipment. The sharp knife stabbed Akainu very quickly. Inu picked up his own sharp knife and kept fighting with Lai Mu. He even avoided the sharp knife stabbed by Lai Mu, fearing that the time would come. This sharp knife can really hurt your vitals. Seeing how hard he has been hiding, Lai Mu thinks he is really interesting. He obviously doesn't have much ability, but he is always so arrogant, thinking that he can accomplish a lot. Lai Mu is thinking that if he loses today, he will be convinced, and then he will no longer clamor about how powerful he is. Lai Mu's sharp knife is not only stabbing Akainu, but his feet are also not idle. His feet kept kicking Akainu's stomach, causing Akainu to retreat step by step. At this time, Akainu really backed up to a disembarkation exit, but he really didn't know it. After Lai Mu saw the exit, she wanted to remind him, but it was too late. The deck was slippery, and he was scratched out with one kick. The sharp knife was also thrown on the deck, and he was about to fall down in the air. 164. Lai Mu saved Akainu's life. 164. Lai Mu saved Akainu's life. Lai Mu could only throw away his sharp knife, then scratched on the deck with his feet, quickly slid to his side, and grabbed his arm. After holding his arm, Akainu kept kicking his feet randomly below. Below was the rough sea water. If Lai Mu let go, he would be swallowed directly by the sea water. Lai Mu could only order it to push it upwards, and then pull it up himself. Hurry up and push hard, and I will pull you up. Lai Mu used all his strength to hold Lion back. Akainu really didn't expect that at this moment, Lai Mu would actually extend a helping hand to pull him up, instead of pushing Lai Mu into the seawater as he wanted in his heart, and then occupying Lai Mu's body. Gold phone bug and silver phone bug. Akainu looked at Lai Mu with such a surprised face. Lai Mu was wondering what he was thinking about at this critical moment of life and death. Why didn't he push up a little harder? The deck was so slippery that Lai Mu felt like she was going to slide into the seawater with her. Let me tell you, now that I am holding you, the deck is so slippery. If you don't exert any more strength, we may both fall into the sea. You want to die, but I don't want to die yet. Seeing Lai Mu complaining so angrily to himself, Akainu could only push upward with all his strength, and then used his other hand to reach up to the railing next to him and hold the railing next to him. After exhausting all his strength and being pulled tightly by Lai Mu, he finally climbed to the deck. After seeing him come up, Lai Mu could finally breathe a sigh of relief and lay down directly on the deck, planning to take a good rest. Seeing Lai Mu lying facing the blue sky and back to the deck, Akainu didn't know what to say. He felt ashamed in his heart. He was a little sorry for Lai Mu, but he really couldn't say he was sorry. He had apologized to Lai Mu before, but it was all because he wanted to get the silver phone bug, and he never meant it sincerely. After Lai Mu rested for a while, he slowly sat up. When he saw Akainu's eyes staring at him, Lai Mu glared at him and felt that he didn't want to do anything now, he just felt very hungry, want to eat something. After standing up, he ran towards the cockpit. Seeing that Lai Mu ignored him and left like this, Akainu could only stand up and go back to his ship. He could not do anything else. Lai Mu and Akainu had just been fighting on the deck for a while, and there was a drizzle of rain outside, and the deck was wet, making him wet all over. Arriving at the cockpit, Lai Mu had some sweat on his forehead and his body was wet. Kizaru was really curious, what happened? What's wrong, Lai Mu, what happened? Why are you all dirty and a little wet? Lai Mu knew that Kizaru was caring about him, but he really didn't want to mention what happened just now. He smiled and shook his head. It's nothing, it's just that I stood on the deck just now to check the wind direction, and then there was a drizzle of rain outside, which really made me wet. By the way, Kizaru, are you hungry? If so, let's go together. Eat something, I haven't even eaten water or anything since I got on the boat. Please give me flowers. Seeing that Lai Mu came to call him to eat, Kizaru agreed very much, because he was already hungry. Okay Lai Mu, let's go have something to eat together. Lai Mu and Kizaru left the cockpit together. When they walked out, Lai Mu saw that there were no people on the deck, and knew that Akainu would be much more honest now. Go back to his cabin and stay quietly. 0. Lai Mu directly ordered a marine soldier to deliver some food and drink to his cabin, and then took Kizaru back to his cabin. After about a while, the marine soldiers brought food and drink to Lai Mu's cabin. Lai Mu and Kizaru just sat there and started eating. The two of them devoured their food, then slowly raised their heads and looked at each other. They were really amused by each other's eating looks. Lai Mu, why do you eat so fast? It seems that you are really hungry. You're still talking about me, but I think you seem to be hungry already. Kizaru nodded. Yes, if I hadn't been hungry, how could I have been discovered by those marine soldiers? I was just flipping through food in the warehouse, and they heard the clanking sound. I thought there was a mouse or something, so I came to the warehouse to check, and that's when I was discovered. Lai Mu smiled. He really didn't expect that his good friend would follow him like this. He also patted his shoulders. He felt that the two of them must complete the task together this time. Point 165. Kizaru is willing to listen to Lai Mu. 165. Kizaru is willing to listen to Lai Mu. Kizaru, I'm actually very happy that you're coming with me. Let's complete this mission together. By the way, there is one thing I want to discuss with you, and that is to hand over this silver phone bug to you. Hearing Lai Mu say that the silver phone bug should be handed over to him, Kizaru shook his head. He was thinking that he was not on the list. If he came here like this, many marine soldiers might be dissatisfied. Now that Lai Mu has handed over the silver phone bug to him again, everyone will be even more dissatisfied. He cannot trap Lai Mu in unkindness, otherwise what he, a good friend, has done is really unqualified. Lai Mu, you must not give me the silver phone bug. Everyone will be dissatisfied with you by then, and you will have no way to convince the public. But Lai Mu was thinking that Kizaru had made up for his fault by coming here and helping them solve a problem. Why was he not qualified to hold the silver phone bug? Kizaru, you know my temper is like this. If I think he is the right person, I will hand over the silver phone bug to him. I think you are qualified, so just accept the silver phone bug. Quote. Kizaru smiled, thinking that no matter how much Lai Mu said, he would never accept it. Now I really want to persuade Lai Mu to give this silver phone bug to Akainu. Lai Mu, you should give this silver phone bug to Akainu. All the people who came with you are soldiers. Akainu is the only one who is the vice admiral. He is more qualified to take this silver phone bug. Lai Mu was immediately surprised. He really didn't expect Kizaru to say such things to him. When he thinks about Akainu now, he feels unhappy. Because Lai Mu could sense that when Akainu competed with himself just now, he just wanted to kill himself, hurt himself, and make himself fall into the sea water. But his strength did not allow it, and he almost fell into the sea water. Fortunately, I rescued him, otherwise his life would really have been in danger. Seeing Lai Mu's angry look, Yuan was really curious. What's wrong, Lai Mu, are you still a little angry with Akainu? Do you think he told you the last time he went to the World War Palace 5 Elders? Lai Mu was thinking that she had long since stopped caring about that matter, but she really wanted to explain the matter to Kizaru properly. I don't have any other good friends, but I get along better with Kizaru. If I just nag Kizaru a few words like this, I guess Kizaru won't be annoyed. Lai Mu put the food down and stopped eating. Seeing the food Lai Mu put down, Kizaru stopped eating and chewed the food in his mouth, asking anxiously. Lai Mu, do you have something to say to me? Yes, do you know? Why was my body wet just now and there was a lot of sweat on my hair? Seeing Lai Mu asking himself, Kizaru was thinking, didn't Lai Mu just say that it was raining lightly outside, so he stood there and checked the wind direction, so he would get wet. It seems that something else must have happened, but Lai Mu couldn't tell herself just now. Lai Mu, tell me, I am your good friend, and I will listen carefully to whatever you say to me. Lai Mu nodded, planning to tell Kizaru what just happened. Just now I wanted to go to the cockpit to ask you to eat something together, but unexpectedly I met Akainu on the deck. I didn't want to pay attention to him, but he heard my footsteps, turned around and asked me for silver phone bug. I was quite angry that he only pointed at the two marine soldiers and didn't obey my order to take that path, so I was unwilling to hand over the silver phone bug to him. He was a little angry, so the two of us had a competition. This competition showed me how vicious he was. He wanted to hurt my vital parts, and even more wanted me to fall into the sea water. However, his strength was not as good as other people's. He didn't expect to let me win. When he kicked out, he fell off the skateboard again, and was about to fall into the sea water. Fortunately, I rescued him in time, otherwise his life would have been lost long ago. After Lai Mu said so much to himself, Kizaru finally understood why Lai Mu did not intend to hand over the silver phone bug to Akainu. However, Kizaru still hopes that Lai Mu can hand over the silver phone bug to Akainu. Only Lai Mu does this, and Akainu will definitely obey Lai Mu's orders more in the future. Lai Mu, no matter what, it is most appropriate for you to hand over the silver phone bug to Akainu. I believe that as long as you hand over the silver phone bug to him, the two of you will definitely get back together, and Akainu will also help you complete the task once and for all. Lai Mu glared at Kizaru. He didn't expect that he had just said so much to him. He still hoped that he would hand over the silver phone bug to Akainu. No matter what, he would not hand it over to Akainu. Point 166. Kizaru sincerely admonishes Akainu. 166. Kizaru sincerely admonishes Akainu. Lai Mu continued to eat and stopped listening to what Kizaru said. Kizaru knew that Lai Mu must be a little dissatisfied with his words, but he didn't mean anything else, just for the good of his good friend. The two of them were just sitting there, eating silently, without anyone talking to anyone. After eating, Lai Mu put his face toward the window, but Kizaru stood up and said with a smile. Lai Mu, I went back to the cockpit first. The two marine soldiers are there, and I'm really not at ease. Kizaru had spoken and left here immediately. Lai Mu would feel a little embarrassed knowing that Kizaru might stay. Lai Mu pouted, wondering if she really wanted to follow Kizaru's suggestion. Should she give the silver phone bug to that guy Akainu? The thought of handing it to him made Lai Mu feel unhappy. He wanted to hurt himself so much, but he really pretended that nothing had happened. Thinking about it, he seemed to be unable to do it. Lai Mu stopped looking out the window and wanted to lie down and have a good rest. Because it's really getting late outside, I just need to rest well now. When I arrive at the destination of Ohara's mission, I can successfully complete the stay. After lying on the bed, Lai Mu fell asleep. After Kizaru left Lai Mu's cabin, he wanted to find Akainu and have a good chat with him. He knew that Akainu had always had a wish to complete Ohara's mission. This time he followed Lai Mu, hoping that he could help Lai Mu do this well. Don't let Lai Mu's mission get in the way. If anything goes wrong, not only Lai Mu himself, but also the rest of the marine soldiers, and he will be punished by the 5 elders of the World War House. I hope he can recognize this clearly. He went directly to Akainu's cabin door and knocked on the door. Akainu had just fought with Lai Mu and almost fell into the sea water. Now he was trembling with fear and sitting alone in the cabin in a daze. Hearing a knock on his door, he stood up slowly and opened the door. After seeing that it was Kizaru, he was a little curious, but Kizaru smiled and said, Akainu, can I go in and sit down and have a chat with you? Seeing that Kizaru wanted to chat with him, Akainu stepped aside and Kizaru walked in, helping him close the door. Sitting there, Akainu didn't say a word, still looking a little dazed. Kizaru knew why he was like this. It would be very easy for a person to be swallowed up by the rough sea water, so he might have been really frightened just now. Why are you okay? I know that you and Lai Mu had a fight just now and almost lost your life. Are you feeling very scared, BFFF, in your heart? Seeing Kizaru asking him questions, Akainu looked out the window and did not answer Kizaru's words. Kizaru smiled when he saw that he was silent. Thinking again, he came here not because he cared about him, but because he had something to say to him and hoped that he would understand. It seemed that he should go straight to the topic. Akainu, I came here to talk to you about something. You and Lai Mu are here to complete Ohara's mission this time. I hope you can treat Lai Mu sincerely and go with him to get things done. Well, don't have some evil thoughts and always want to replace Lai Mu's position. Akainu, do you know how much you weigh? Lai Mu is really amazing. Even I have to admire him, so I hope you won't always think about robbing Lai Mu this time. The golden phone bug, as long as you can do this, I will let Lai Mu hand over the silver phone bug to you, and then you will work together to complete this matter. Akainu was stunned, not expecting that Kizaru would come and say such words to him. He was wondering whether Lai Mu ordered him to come here, or whether Kizaru wanted to say this to him. Seeing Akainu looking at him with doubtful eyes, Kizaru thought that since his relationship with Lai Mu was so good, hiding could persuade Lai Mu. And I came here just because I wanted to be with my good friend. I didn't care about the silver phone bug or the golden phone bug. I know you may not believe what I say, but I also want to tell you that Lai Mu just said that he wanted to give me the silver phone bug, but for Lai Mu, I really can't accept it. I know that if I accept the silver phone bug, no one will be willing to obey Lai Mu in the future. And I also told Lai Mu that I hope he will hand over the silver phone bug to you. Akainu really didn't expect that Kizaru would actually come and tell him this, and said that he persuaded Lai Mu to give the silver phone bug to him. Point 167. Akainu sincerely apologizes to Lai Mu. 167. Akainu sincerely apologizes to Lai Mu. Akainu showed a slight smile, thinking that Lai Mu would not give the silver phone bug to him no matter what. Just now, I tried to hurt Lai Mu's vitals again and again. Thinking of this, Lai Mu would probably hate herself very much. Kizaru, I am very grateful to you for persuading Lai Mu like that, but I am really not qualified to get the silver phone bug now, but don't worry, I really treat Lai Mu differently. From now on, I will help him complete this Ohara mission, and I will not hinder him or do anything that is not conducive to completing the mission. With Akainu's words, Kizaru was really relieved, nodded, stood up and left. Lai Mu slept soundly all night. After slowly opening his eyes, he found that the sky outside seemed to have stopped slightly. He was thinking that it had passed overnight, and he really didn't know where their ship was now and when it would arrive at the destination to complete Ohara's mission. After he stood up, he first looked at the drawings, and then walked out of his cabin. I met this Akainu just after I went out. Now, Lai Mu wants to treat Akainu as a stranger. He would do whatever he could to help him. If he didn't want to do it, Lai Mu didn't want to force him. I feel that first and other marine soldiers can complete this mission successfully. Lai Mu was about to walk past Akainu, but Akainu stopped Lai Mu again. Lai Mu, wait. Hearing him calling her, Lai Mu wondered if he wanted to pretend to apologize to himself first, and then bring up the silver phone bug thing. Otherwise, he continued to compete with himself. Lai Mu did not turn around and kept his back to Akainu. Akainu did not let Lai Mu turn around and spoke directly to Lai Mu's back. Lai Mu, I'm sorry. Hearing this apology, Lai Mu felt a little bit sincere. She really wanted to see if he was sincere on his face now. Or if he was just pretending. When Lai Mu turned around, he saw Akainu keeping his head down, as if he knew he was wrong. Lai Mu remained silent, just staring at Akainu, who lowered his head. Seeing that Lai Mu had not replied, Akainu immediately raised his head. Seeing Lai Mu staring at him, Akainu said directly, Lai Mu, I know that no matter what I say now, I don't believe it, but I am sorry, I really mean it. I just do what I have to do. He left directly from his side. Lai Mu really didn't expect that he would not mention the silver phone bug again today. This made Lai Mu no longer want to worry about anything, and walked directly towards the cockpit. When I came to the cockpit, I saw one of the marine soldiers sleeping soundly, and another marine soldier was accompanying Kizaru. The two men continued to control their ship. Lai Mu stood there and stared for a long time. The sleeping marine soldier slowly opened his eyes and sat up immediately when he saw Lai Mu standing in front of him. This time they went to see, everything was directed by Lai Mu. He is lying here sleeping soundly, and he is really scared. Lai Mu will blame him a little. Please give me flowers. Seeing his hairy look, Lai Mu was really amused by him. He burst out laughing, and Kizaru and the marine soldiers who were driving the boat in front heard the laughter and turned around immediately. Lai Mu, you are here. Lai Mu smiled and nodded, yes. He looked at the marine soldier who was frightened just now and said, what happened to you just now? Why did you see me? It's like the mouse saw the cat. Seeing Lai Mu asking himself, the marine soldier smiled awkwardly. He could see that Lai Mu was not very angry and wanted to express his inner thoughts. 0. Lai Mu, I just lay down. I'm really sleepy. I hope you won't be angry. I'll continue sailing right now. Lai Mu knew that these marine soldiers were very tired along the way, so how could he not sympathize with them? Although I am in charge of commanding them, I am not that strict. I really hope that they will not be so restrained when they see me. It doesn't matter, just take a rest for a while. After you have rested, switch to Kizaru and another marine soldier and let them take a rest. The marine soldier really didn't expect that Lai Mu would be so magnanimous and not care about himself. He was very happy in his heart. He nodded and lay there again, planning to rest for a while. Lai Mu came to Kizaru and another marine soldier and wanted to ask how long it would take them to reach Ohara's destination. Kizaru, how long will it take to reach the destination of the drawing? Lai Mu asked anxiously. 168. Akainu just wants to work hard. 168. Akainu just wants to work hard. Seeing Lai Mu looking a little anxious, Kizaru thought that he couldn't give Lai Mu time to diagnose, as everything would happen on this sea. You may encounter other pirates, you may also encounter some storms or thunderstorms, Lai Mu should be aware of this situation. Lai Mu, you are making things difficult for me. How can I give you a time for diagnosis right away? We will all encounter anything, which will make our progress a little slower. Lai Mu nodded slowly, not intending to ask Kizaru any more questions. 907. He felt relieved since Kizaru was on the ship and could help him control the ship. No matter what happens, Kizaru should be able to solve it and help him deal with it. Okay Kizaru, I'll leave everything to you. I'll go out first and won't disturb you. You two will have something to eat and then rest for a while. Kizaru nodded and watched Lai Mu leave the cabin. After going out, Lai Mu saw Akainu standing on the deck, holding a telescope and looking into the distance. That serious look made Lai Mu feel like it was a bit like the first time he saw Akainu. At that time, he was just a marine soldier, while Akainu and the others had become vice admirals. Seeing their majestic looks makes me envious, and I hope to be like them. No matter what kind of situation we encounter, we are always the first to rush forward. I still remember that Akainu also praised himself at the time, thinking that he could get along well with the recruits and that he was a down-to-earth person. But I didn't expect that Ohara's mission this time would really create a rift and estrangement between himself and Akainu. Maybe Akainu is really not a bad person, but he just thinks that he seems to have taken away his Ohara mission, so he feels a little unwilling. Lai Mu stood behind Akainu and looked at him for a long time. After standing for a while, he wanted to go back to his cabin. Just when he was about to leave, Akainu saw Lai Mu and hurriedly came to Lai Mu with a telescope. Mu sighed. Lai Mu, I saw a red area in the distance. I'm not sure. Do you want to take a look? Seeing how seriously he told himself, Lai Mu thought that he really should go take a look. Lai Mu didn't say anything, but directly brought the telescope in his hand over and stood where he just stood. Place and looked over there. I really saw a red sea. Lai Mu was not that familiar with this route. I didn't know what was ahead. Song Nang slowly approached and then made plans. It doesn't matter. Although we only saw the Red Sea area, we really don't need to worry about anything. We should continue to move forward and wait until we get there. Seeing what Lai Mu told him, Akainu didn't say anything more. He continued to look around with his telescope and started working seriously again. Seeing his appearance, Lai Mu seemed a little uncomfortable. I was also thinking in my heart whether I should hand the silver phone bug to him. But as I said, there is no need to be so anxious. You can wait until you complete the Ohara mission destination before making plans. Lai Mu walked directly past Akainu and returned to his cabin. Kizaru and another marine soldier continued to drive the boat. From time to time, they would look forward with telescopes. He also saw the red area and thought that he should inform his good friends and take a look. What do my friends think? He directly arranged for the two marine soldiers to continue driving the boat, left the cockpit, and rushed to Lai Mu's cabin. There was a loud knock on the door. Lai Mu stood up and opened the door. Seeing that Kizaru was coming, Lai Mu hurriedly welcomed him into his cabin. What's wrong, Kizaru? Is something wrong? Yes, Lai Mu. I was in the cabin just now, looking forward with a telescope, and I really saw a red area, but I don't know what it is. Should we continue driving forward? Or should we take a detour? And go? Lai Mu was thinking that it was only the red zone 1.4, and felt that there was really no need to take a detour. Yesterday, they mistakenly took a small road and then backed out and took a detour. They really wasted a lot of gas. Now they can no longer continue to waste gas. When the equipment is not enough, it is really possible that there will be no way to make things happen. It doesn't matter, just keep driving forward with the boat. Akainu and I just saw this red area. I didn't expect you to see it too. Seeing Lai Mu say that he and Akainu saw it together, Kizaru wondered if the relationship between Lai Mu and Akainu was slowly getting better. 169. Akainu, don't be ungrateful. 169. Akainu, don't be ungrateful. A smile appeared on Kizaru's face, which made Lai Mu feel that he was really strange and curious about what he was laughing at. I said, why are you so happy? What are you laughing at? Of course I'm laughing at the possibility of you and Akainu getting back together. Lai Mu glanced at him and wanted to tell him that he and Akainu really had not reconciled now, so he must not think too much about it. I said, which one of your eyes saw that Akainu and I had reconciled? We were just discussing work together. Kizaru knew that Lai Mu might also be a thin-skinned person, and he just didn't want to admit it. He really couldn't say anything more. Lai Mu would definitely be a little embarrassed when he said it. Okay, I won't say anything anymore. I'm here to report you anyway, so I'll go back to the cockpit first. Lai Mu stopped Kizaru again, still wanting to let Kizaru take a good rest. After all, he had sailed for such a long time yesterday. Kizaru, if you're tired, you'd better take a rest. Kizaru nodded, naturally understanding. Don't worry, if I'm tired, I will definitely rest. After Kizaru left, Lai Mu didn't want to be alone in his shipyard, so he stood up and wanted to go out for some fresh air. As soon as he walked out of his cabin, he saw the two erring marine soldiers going to Akainu's cabin. Lai Mu didn't think much about it at all. She also wanted to walk out of Akainu's cabin and go to the deck to get some fresh air. But just as he walked to the door of Akainu's cabin, he heard voices inside. Akainu, Lai Mu is really overbearing, so do we really have to tolerate him like this? Now the two of us can't even sail the boat. You should think of a way to see if you can help us. We won't even get honors when we go back. Although two marine soldiers came to find him, Akainu was sitting there without saying a word. He couldn't do anything bad for Lai Mu anymore. Lai Mu saved him. Could he still be so ungrateful? After Lai Mu heard what the two marine soldiers inside said, he stood there without going out immediately, wanting to hear what Akainu would say to them next. When he apologized to himself just now, he was really sincere. If he helped the two marine soldiers to fight against him, then his sincerity just now might be fake again. After about a while, the dog also spoke. I'm sorry, I can't help you too. I just made a mistake when you took that path. I can't let you make the same mistake again and again. Just follow Lai Mu's order. I will do the same in the future. Follow Lai Mu's orders. Lai Mu stood there, really not expecting that Akainu in the room would actually say this to two marine soldiers. It seemed that he really knew that he was wrong. Lai Mu was also very happy in her heart, and she had made up her mind to hand over the silver phone bug to Akainu when she arrived at Ohara's destination. Lai Mu walked out directly. The two marine soldiers saw Akainu rejecting them. They thought Akainu was trying to burn bridges. Seeing that they didn't leave his room, Akainu knew that they were a little dissatisfied with him now, but he really couldn't let them make the same mistake again and again. You should go out and don't come back to shake my own mind. I will not follow you to do anything detrimental to Lai Mu. Hearing Akainu's resolute words, the two men glared at Akainu, stood up and had no choice but to leave Akainu's room first. After Lai Mu went out, he saw that the sky outside seemed to be gradually getting clearer. Lai Mu knew that he should be far away from the area yesterday, and there would no longer be the pattering of light rain, and it should be sunny now. Standing on the deck, Lai Mu could see that the red zone was getting closer and closer to them. Lai Mu really wants to know what it is and whether 010 will affect their continued progress. The two marine soldiers who had just gone to Akainu's room saw Lai Mu's figure when they came out of the cabin. They were also a little dissatisfied with Lai Mu now. He glanced at Lai Mu and wanted to leave, but Lai Mu accidentally saw the two of them and stopped them immediately. You guys stop here. Hearing Lai Mu's voice, the two of them turned their backs to Lai Mu, wondering in their hearts what the weight of Lai Mu calling them was. Lai Mu walked up to the two of them and said directly, "Why don't you dare to face me? Did you do something behind my back, so you feel guilty?" Seeing Lai Mu irritating them with these words, the two people immediately turned around. Lai Mu, what do you mean? Yeah, why are we guilty? What did we do behind your back? Lai Mu sneered a few times, thinking about what the two of them had done. They should be self-aware, but he just didn't want to bring it up. Point 170. Lai Mu's boat becomes unstable. 170. Lai Mu's boat becomes unstable. I know that you two are feeling a lot of unwillingness in your hearts now because I won't let you two continue to sail the boat. You are also particularly dissatisfied with me, but this is all what you asked for. I told you to be obedient before. You are unwilling to obey my orders, and now you can only bear the consequences of your wrongdoings. Everything Lai Mu said was reasonable, and the two of them had no way to refute it. Seeing that the two of them were silent, Lai Mu knew that they were being unreasonable, so he glared at them and left them. Because Lai Mu was out of breath, he planned to go to the cockpit and drive the boat forward with Kizaru and the others, and then see when he could get closer to the red zone. Lai Mu came to the cockpit and saw Kizaru lying there exhausted and sleeping soundly. Lai Mu knew that he was a little tired in the past 2 days. The two marine soldiers wanted to turn around and say hello to Lai Mu, but Lai Mu waved her hands. She really didn't want them to talk and disturb Kizaru anymore. Lai Mu quietly came to their side and asked curiously, "How about it? How long will it take for us to reach the red zone?" Lai Mu, if we reach the red zone, it will probably be dark, and we may not be able to see the situation clearly. Seeing that they said it would be dark when they got there, Lai Mu planned to tell other marine soldiers later that when they got there, they must light up all the lights on the ship. That way it would be a little clearer and see if I can see clearly what's going on there. Okay, you can just keep sailing, I'll leave first. Mu immediately left the cockpit, walked out, and came to the deck again. He saw Akainu standing there and looking at. Although I don't hate Akainu that much anymore, I really don't know how to say hello. I felt that I should still walk by him quietly without being noticed by him, so as to avoid the awkward situation when the two of them face each other. Lai Mu quietly walked past Akainu. Akainu also heard the footsteps. He turned around and saw Lai Mu squeezing to return to the cabin. Akainu hurriedly called to Lai Mu. Lai Mu, wait. Hearing Akainu stop him again, Lai Mu could only turn around and said with a smile. What's the matter, Akainu? It's going to get dark soon in Lai Mu. I guess when we get to the red zone, we might not be able to see clearly what's going on there. Otherwise, I'll go and order some marine soldiers. Let them light up all the lights later, so that we can really see what the situation is there. Seeing the thoughts in his heart, Akainu also thought of it, so Lai Mu thought that he would leave this matter to Akainu. Letting him do it can be regarded as training him. As long as he performs well along the way, when he reaches the destination of Ohara, he will hand over the silver phone bug to him. Okay Akainu, I'll leave it to you then, just go ahead and give the order. Akainu nodded and left Lai Mu directly, planning to make arrangements. Lai Mu also returned to his cabin with ease, planning to wait slowly for darkness. He knew that as long as it got dark, he would be able to reach the red zone. Lai Mu lay on her bed, closed her eyes and fell asleep. About 2 or 3 hours later, he heard a lot of sounds of seawater lapping outside, and he could hear a loud vibrating sound. He was wondering what happened on the sea. He opened his eyes immediately, and at this time, his cabin door was also knocked. He quickly stood up and opened the door. Unexpectedly, Akainu came to the door of his cabin with an anxious look on his face. Quote. What's wrong Akainu, what happened? Lai Mu, please go out and take a look. We have reached the red zone, and now our ship is also very unstable. Seeing Akainu telling him this, Lai Mu had no time to say anything and followed Akainu out of the cabin. When we came to the deck, some seawater was rolling and slapping on the deck, making it wet. Lai Mu Zhao stood on the deck, feeling like he was skating on ice. Akainu also hurriedly grabbed Lai Mu. Lai Mu, be careful, it's really slippery up here, Akainu warned. Lai Mu nodded and looked forward. Although Akainu had already ordered other marine soldiers to light up the lights, these lights had become too small on this wide ocean, and it was impossible to see clearly what was in front of them. Lai Mu was also worried. Seeing Lai Mu standing there without speaking, Akainu wanted to ask Lai Mu what to do. What should Lai Mu do? Why is this happening? 171. The ship can't move forward. 171. The ship can't move forward. This is the first time that Lai Mu has commanded so many marine soldiers to go to sea. He has never encountered such a situation, so Lai Mu doesn't know what to do now. But he felt that since he encountered this matter, he should solve it carefully and not be defeated by these difficulties. Don't worry, I will definitely think of a solution. Seeing Lai Mu speaking so confidently, Akainu also believed it. Kizaru was sleeping soundly, and he could feel the boat shaking all the time. After slowly opening his eyes, he sat up and planned to ask the two Marines who were driving the boat. Is it old? What's wrong? What happened? Kizaru, we may have reached the red zone, but we don't know why the ship is so unstable, and there is no way to continue moving forward. After hearing what they told him, Kizaru knew that he could only temporarily dock the ship and then go out to see the situation. 987 inches. You guys stop the boat first, I'll go out and take a look. Kizaru put on a coat and walked out of the cockpit. He actually saw Lai Mu and Akainu standing there talking. He quickly came to Lai Mu's side. Does Lai Mu know what the situation is? Why is the boat also shaking? Seeing Kizaru wake up and ask the same question as Akainu just now, Lai Mu shook his head and didn't know how to answer. Just when several people were at a loss and didn't know what the situation was, they only heard the sound of a fish, and it was so loud. It seems that after he shouted, Lai Mu's boat rocked even more violently. Lai Mu, along with Akainu and Kizaru, could only hold on to the railing on the deck tightly to prevent the ship from shaking even more and causing them to slip off the deck. Akainu, Kizaru, you two must be careful. Akainu and Kizaru also knew that this was a critical moment, so they nodded, and they really didn't need to worry about Lai Mu. Lai Mu, don't worry, we will take care of ourselves. Lai Mu's eyes kept looking forward, wanting to know what it was, and it was also speculating and wanting to express what was in its heart. Akainu, Kizaru, you must have heard it just now. It seemed to be the sound of a fish. Could it be that a fish really makes our boat shake like this? The two of them were also wondering in their hearts, but they didn't expect Lai Mu to express their doubts. Yes, Lai Mu, I also heard the sound that sounded like a fish. Although it sounded like a fish, are we really sure it is a fish? At this time, Kizaru seemed to have thought of something, and he said directly, Lai Mu, Akainu, have you heard of that legend? A fish is near the red line. Have we reached the red line now? And the name of that fish is Laboon. It is a big whale. Could it be that he is hitting our boat? After Lai Mu heard what Kizaru said, he wanted to go back to the cabin to take a good look at his drawings. Before he could let go of his hand, the ship began to rock again. Lai Mu accidentally slipped and fell. Akainu and Kizaru reached out their hands to catch Lai Mu. When Lai Mu saw the two of them stretching out their hands, he quickly reached over and took their hands. Lai Mu once again grasped the railing and stood up slowly. I want to ask again if Kizaru is really a very big whale. Also, Kizaru just said that this is just a legend. Is it credible or not? Kizaru, is what you said true or false? Is there really such a big whale? It seems to be bigger than our ship, and it can even shake our ship. Seeing Lai Mu questioning him, Kizaru shook his head. He was not sure either, he just heard about it. Lai Mu, I'm really not so sure, but since there is a legend, it can't be groundless. Otherwise, we should hurry up and confirm whether it is the whale. If it is best to let it get out of the way. So do we. We can keep moving forward. Akainu, who was standing aside, was thinking that it was just a whale. In their marine eyes, it should be relatively easy to deal with. It seems that they really should get the marine cannon and bomb it hard to let Laboon clear the way for them. Lai Mu, how about I instruct the other marine soldiers to get marine cannons and other equipment to fight against this fish? Kai Shu suggested. Lai Mu shook his head. He really didn't want everyone to do this. He was alive, and he shouldn't be hurt if he could be spared. Seeing that Lai Mu disagreed, Akainu knew that Lai Mu had a kind heart and did not want to harm such a life. Point 172. Lai Mu can't bear to hurt Laboon. 172. Lai Mu can't bear to hurt Laboon. But this whale still hindered Lai Mu in their progress. Is Lai Mu really tolerant? Lai Mu is just a fish. It's not like us. These few words can make the other party understand. I guess he won't understand anything you say. It's because of his larger size that he blocks our way. If you don't confront him, he still won't be able to leave here in a wise way. Lai Mu thinks Akainu's thoughts are too absolute, and she even thinks that as long as he is alive, he should be able to understand what he says and what he means. It seems that he should really go and meet this Laboon in person. Well, don't be anxious. Just wait a little longer. Maybe after dawn, I can see whether it is the whale or not. I also need to have a good communication with him. He may not be sure. They will make way for me and let me continue to rush forward. Akainu and Kizaru really have to admire Lai Mu. Lai Mu's ideas are really different from others. The two people were thinking that this time it was Lai Mu who directed everyone to go to sea to complete the mission, and they could only listen to Lai Mu. Okay, Lai Mu, just wait a little longer and see if it's the whale after dawn. Laboon had just bumped his head against Lai Mu's boat for a long time, which made him a little tired now. He stopped bumping against the boat, and leaned against the red line and fell asleep. After Lai Mu and others felt that the ship could dock, they planned to stop here temporarily so that everyone could have a good rest and be fully prepared to face everything in front of them early tomorrow morning. Go ahead and tell everyone to rest early. I was a little tired, so I went back to the boat first. Lai Mu walked towards the cabin and returned to the cabin. Lai Mu was lying on the bed, really unable to sleep. I am very anxious that the sky will light up earlier, so that I can face all this earlier. But there is no use thinking about this, I can only wait slowly. Thinking about it, Lai Mu closed her eyes and fell asleep. A few hours passed in an instant, and the sky gradually became brighter. Laboon opened his eyes again, and when he saw the boat in front of him, he pushed his head against the boat again. All the Marines, including Akainu, Kizaru and Lai Mu, were fast asleep. The rocking of the ship woke up again, especially Lai Mu, who immediately stood up and pushed open the cabin door. When he went out, he met Akainu in the corridor, and the two of them ran outside together. Lai Mu came to the deck, and this time he noticed that it was a big whale. The whale was bigger than their ship, and it seemed that it could not be seen to the end. Lai Mu also noticed that the whale was dark blue and had many cracks on his body. It seemed that he had lived for many years. Lai Mu thought again that Kizaru said this was a legend. It seems that this legend is not groundless and is true. Lai Mu shouted loudly, "You must be Laboon." Lai Mu's voice was particularly loud. Laboon slowly heard the sound and his head seemed to turn back. Lai Mu saw his big round eyes looking towards her. Lai Mu knew that he heard her voice and must be very curious as to why she called him. It seemed that she should have a good talk with him. ... Please give me flowers. We are marine soldiers from Marineford. We are going to sea to complete the mission. I hope you can lean your body to the side. We are going from here. Akainu stood beside Lai Mu, wondering if it was really effective for Lai Mu to say so many words to such a big whale. Can he understand it? Lai Mu, are you really doing this for good? Otherwise, we can just use the marine cannon. Lai Mu shook his head, still insisting on his own thoughts, not wanting to hurt this big whale. Kizaru also came out of his cockpit at this time. He also saw this big whale, and hurriedly came to Lai Mu, wanting to ask Lai Mu how he made his decision. Lai Mu, haven't you thought about it yet? We can't waste any more time. We must move forward as quickly as possible. Hearing Kizaru urging him, Lai Mu knew that time was urgent, but he still would not hurt a life in vain. You should be able to understand what I just said. Please get out of the way. Lai Mu shouted again, and Laboon inflamed his eyes like that. In an instant, he opened his mouth. His mouth was directly higher than Lai Mu's boat, and was able to hit Lai Mu's boat immediately. Devour it. Kizaru Akainu was stunned and said loudly. Lai Mu, look at him. He opened his mouth. Does he want to devour us? Lai Mu is also very nervous now, but he doesn't care, he just doesn't want to let other marine soldiers and his good friend Kizaru get hurt and die. Point 173. Lai Mu stimulates Laboon. 173. Lai Mu stimulates Laboon. No matter what, he will get through this difficulty and there is no way he will let this big whale hurt himself and the marine soldiers. Kizaru Akainu, you two hurry up and gather all the marine soldiers. Search for the information you can as soon as possible to see what the origin of this Laboon is. Seeing Lai Mu ordering them to do these things, the two of them were still a little uneasy about leaving Lai Mu alone on the deck. They just stood beside Lai Mu and did not immediately call the other marine soldiers. Seeing that they refused to leave, Lai Mu said loudly, why didn't you two listen when I said, 8, 7. Go quickly, otherwise it will be too late in a while. Seeing Lai Mu urging again, the two of them could only nod their heads, and then separated to gather other marine soldiers. After about a while, all the marine soldiers came to the deck, and some information was also brought to the deck. Everything they knew was told to Lai Mu. Lai Mu now understands why this Laboon has been waiting near the red line. It seems that he is waiting for someone. Lai Mu turned around and planned to ask other marine soldiers to check whether Brook was alive now. If he was alive, Lai Mu could make an agreement with Laboon. That is, whenever I go to sea and complete a task on this sea, I will definitely help him search for this Brook. Kizaru, Akainu, do you know if this Brook is still alive, and if their pirate group still exists? Seeing Lai Mu asking these questions, Akainu and Kizaru both shrugged, feeling a little sorry, because they had heard this legend a long time ago, and Brook's pirate group had been destroyed long ago. Lai Mu, you are really posing a problem for us. You don't know that Brook's pirate group has been destroyed long ago. As soon as Kizaru said it, Laboon seemed to understand it. He started again with his head but crashed into Lai Mu's ship. The collision made Lai Mu's ship shake even more violently, and all the marine soldiers standing on it screamed in horror, really afraid of falling from the ship. It's okay to fall into the sea water. They have life buoys or life jackets and can climb onto the boat again. What should I do if they fall into Laboon's mouth? It is estimated that Laboon will not spit them out. Seeing how panicked they all were, Lai Mu thought that they had really embarrassed Marine. Why were they so timid? I asked you, can you all be braver and stop being so timid? Can a whale scare you like this? Seeing Lai Mu's reprimand, everyone stopped shouting and held their breath to become braver. Lai Mu still wanted to have a good talk with this Laboon. Lai Mu looked at Laboon with such sincerity. Laboon also noticed that Lai Mu's eyes were staring at him. It no longer banged its head against Lai Mu's boat, but just looked at Lai Mu, and Lai Mu said directly. I know you are waiting for Brook, right? But more than 50 years have passed. Do you think Brook is still alive in this world? Lai Mu's words seemed to irritate Laboon again, and Laboon's head hit Lai Mu and the others again. Lai Mu and their boat were about to capsize. Lai Mu shouted loudly. Everyone should go to the high side, never go to the low side. After hearing Lai Mu's shout, all the marine soldiers rushed to the higher side. Even though the deck was a little slippery, they still climbed up with all their strength. When all the people reached a high place, the boat became slightly more stable and no longer threatened to capsize. Lai Mu, Akainu Kizaru, and the other marine soldiers were relieved that everyone was not knocked into the sea by this Laboon. Both Lai Mu and Akainu now hope that Lai Mu will stop saying those irritating words to Laboon. If he said anything again, Laboon would definitely continue to bump into their ship. By that time, the person had not fallen into the sea water. If the boat was hit by him, they would really have no way to continue moving forward and rush to the destination of Ohara. Akainu kept looking at Kizaru, and Kizaru seemed to understand what Akainu meant. He had offended Lai Mu before, and it would be really not good for him to say these things now. Kizaru could only say these words. Kizaru nodded slowly and said directly, Lai Mu, you should pay attention when you speak. You don't know this Laboon. He is a very emotional whale. He can understand everything you say. Lai Mu can understand what Kizaru means, and he is considering the overall situation, but he just hopes that the whale can understand the current situation, and it is meaningless for him to continue waiting. 174. Akainu is cruel for Lai Mu. 174. Akainu is cruel for Lai Mu. Just hold on to the railing. Don't fall into the sea water because he hit our boat with his head. Just ensure your own safety. Don't worry, I can definitely take you through this difficulty. Seeing Lai Mu's determined look, everyone planned to believe Lai Mu. Lai Mu's eyes once again looked at Laboon and said directly. The person you are waiting for is Brook, not us. Why are you coming to ram our ship now? Please get out of the way. Maybe I will meet Brook on the sea and tell him that you are waiting for him. But if you want to fight us to the end today, not only may you not be able to wait for Brook, but we may also tell Brook that you are dead. Laboon understood that Lai Mu was intimidating him. He thought that he was a big whale and could swallow Lai Mu's ship. It was really impossible for him to be threatened by Lai Mu like this. The weak will be frightened by them. He took his head and started to hit Lai Mu's boat again. Lai Mu really didn't expect that although this whale understood emotions, he would not take soft and hard words. No matter how he tried to persuade him, he seemed unwilling to listen, which made Lai Mu hesitate whether to use the marine cannon on him. No matter what Lai Mu does, he is resolute and resolute. When dealing with people, he will give the other person many opportunities and is unwilling to hurt the other person. Even if the person in front of him now is a whale or an animal, he is not willing to hurt it. But Akainu and Kizaru on the side really don't have such good tempers. Especially Akainu, he really couldn't wait any longer. He thought Lai Mu could endure this whale, but he couldn't. I still want to take action myself and use the marine cannon to bomb the Laboon in front of me. As long as this Laboon is solved, they really don't need to waste so much time and can continue to move forward. He quickly left Lai Mu's side, went to the warehouse, got the marine cannon, and came out of the warehouse again. Back to Lai Mu's side, Lai Mu noticed it at this time and looked at Akainu questioningly. He was wondering how Akainu took out the marine cannon. Akainu saw Lai Mu's surprised face staring at him and said directly, Lai Mu, I know you can't be cruel, but I can do it. Don't worry, let me deal with this whale. 11. Lai Mu really didn't expect Akainu to be impatient, but Lai Mu still wouldn't allow Akainu to do this. Akainu, no, you can't hurt Laboon. Lai Mu and Akainu were confronting each other in front of Laboon, and Laboon could see clearly. He did not expect that the marine soldier wanted to hurt him. But the people who told themselves that Brook might be dead were so determined to protect themselves from any harm that it seemed like they really couldn't stand in their way. Laboon's head has always been leaning on Lai Mu's boat. Akainu knows that as long as he takes action, he will succeed. His marine cannon was also aimed at Laboon's head, preparing to fire the cannon immediately. Lai Mu thinks about what he said again. Akainu, doesn't he understand? Why is he still insisting on his idea now? What's wrong, Akainu, can't you hear what I'm saying? Hurry up and put the marine cannon back. Lai Mu ordered. Kizaru wanted to persuade Lai Mu, hoping that Lai Mu would also listen to Akainu, because in this situation they really couldn't give in to the whale in front of them. Lai Mu, let Akainu attack this whale, otherwise when will it be over and when can we move on? Seeing Kizaru like this, Lai Mu glanced at Kizaru. Lai Mu thought that he had just said that no matter what, he would find a way to lead them through this difficulty. Could it be that they trusted him? Is it just that little 187? Akainu, let me tell you again, you are not allowed to fire this marine cannon. Lai Mu saved Akainu's life. He will not do anything detrimental to Lai Mu again. He just wants to help Lai Mu complete Ohara's mission as Kizaru said. He thought that what he was doing now was for Lai Mu's good. He ignored what Lai Mu was saying to him and directly lit the marine cannon. Sparks were flying from the place where the fire was lit. Lai Mu was stunned. He really didn't expect that what he said would be useless. Akainu had no intention of listening at all. Lai Mu knew that he should use all his strength now to turn the marine cannon in a direction so that it could not attack Laboon, so he shouted loudly. Marine soldiers on Akainu's side, come to me quickly, come to Kizaru's side, and Akainu, hurry up too. 175. Lai Mu impressed Laboon. 175. Lai Mu impressed Laboon. Akainu and the marine soldiers didn't understand what it meant, but Lai Mu shouted so loudly that they knew they had to get closer to Lai Mu and Kizaru. Lai Mu used all his strength, raised his foot, and instantly kicked the marine cannon. The marine cannon immediately reversed its direction, and in an instant, a blast of gunfire was fired. A big ball of fire hit the red line directly, and the earth crackled down from the mainland, hitting not only Laboon's body, but also the marine's body. The marines themselves are wearing white marine uniforms, like seagulls flying on the sea. But now it has turned into a red color, making it look like a clown. Seeing that everyone seemed to be covered with a layer of red soil and nothing serious, Lai Mu was really relieved. How's it going? Are you okay? Lai Mu asked with concern. Everyone shook their heads. Seeing them shaking their heads, Lai Mu knew that nothing was wrong. Lai Mu noticed the Laboon, and its body also turned red. Lai Mu knew that the red color was just mud, not that he was injured. Because the marine cannon had been redirected by itself just now, it only hit the red line and did not hurt Laboon. How are you? Is there nothing wrong with you? The sound of the marine cannon is very loud. Did it scare you? Laboon understands emotions. Can he understand what Lai Mu was saying? He didn't expect that this person would not only protect him, but also ask him if there was anything wrong with him. Like a pampered pet, Laboon slowly shook his head. Seeing him replying to her, Lai Mu breathed a sigh of relief, feeling really relieved. Kizaru and Akainu really admired Lai Mu more and more. Unexpectedly, Lai Mu turned the marine cannon around for this Laboon. Now it's hard for everyone to say anything, just stand there and look at Lai Mu and see what will happen to this Laboon next. Everyone knows that he understands emotions. With Lai Mu protecting him like this now, will he still make it difficult for these marines to block their way and prevent them from moving forward? After Lai Mu stared at the Laboon for a while, he wanted to ask him again if he could make way for himself. This is my first time to command marines to go out to sea to complete a mission. I hope you can get out of the way for us and let us continue to move forward. Please. Lai Mu's words were so sincere that Laboon was very moved. He knew that he could no longer hinder Lai Mu's path. But he still hopes that when Lai Mu can meet Brook, he can tell Brook that he is still waiting for him near the edge of the red line. He opened his big mouth again, shocking all the marine soldiers. However, when he opened his big mouth, he really didn't want to swallow Lai Mu and other marine soldiers. He just howled. His howl made Lai Mu seem to understand what he meant. What's wrong? Do you still want me to tell Brook when I meet her? Laboon blinked obediently, and seeing him blinking, Lai Mu knew that she had to agree to him, no matter whether she could do it or not. As long as he agreed to it, he would definitely let them all get out of the way. Lai Mu also blinked at him, without saying too many words or making too many movements. Lai Mu knew that as long as it was a look from him, Laboon would definitely give way. Laboon saw Lai Mu blinking at him, very proactively, as if he had sunk to the bottom of the sea. He didn't give any more instructions. In this short time together, he already believed in Lai Mu. He really didn't need Lai Mu to do anything more to convince himself. Seeing Laboon like this on the bottom of the sea, Lai Mu knew that he had stepped out of the way, and Lai Mu felt really happy. The marine soldiers on the side were even more impressed by Lai Mu. Lai Mu seemed not to use any equipment at all, or use its force to fight against such a whale. It's not that Lai Mu doesn't have that strength, it's just that Lai Mu is unwilling to harm such a life. Lai Mu turned around and looked at Akainu. Akainu also knew that he was wrong. He lowered his head and said directly. Lai Mu, I'm sorry, I did something wrong. I shouldn't have hurt this whale, so just punish me. Could Lai Mu not understand Akainu's thoughts? He knew that Akainu might have wanted to help him get to Ohara's destination as soon as possible, so he wanted to hurt Laboon just now. Naturally, he would not blame Akainu. He patted Akainu on the shoulder and said with a smile. Akainu, keep doing what you have to do. After Lai Mu said something, he looked at Kizaru. Kizaru could understand what Lai Mu's look meant, and he was also instructing him to go to the cockpit. 176. Oravia drives Robin away. 176. Oravia drives Robin away. Kizaru came to Akainu's side again and patted Akainu on the shoulder. Akainu, Lai Mu, he really didn't blame you, we should each do our own thing. As Kizaru said, he was going to the cockpit. After Lai Mu returned to the cabin, he could feel their ship moving forward, and he could also feel Laboon under their ship. He really hoped that he could meet Brook and ask him properly, had he really forgotten Laboon over the years. It's not worth it to make Laboon wait for him so hard. Lai Mu was really a little tired now, so she lay on the bed and planned to close her eyes and rest for a while. Kizaru returned to the cockpit and continued to drive the boat forward with the two marine soldiers. He knew that it was still far away from Ohara's destination, so he should take the two marine soldiers to sail there as soon as possible, and Lai Mu could also complete this task as soon as possible. 263 Otherwise, you will procrastinate, and you really don't know when you can get things done. After this incident, Akainu knew that he should really learn more from Lai Mu when doing things in the future. Not everything has to be solved by force. It seems that communication between people also requires patience and attentiveness. He continued to explore his own direction, and if there was anything wrong, he would still report it to Lai Mu. On the island of Ohara, Oravia has been depressed for a while. Robin looked at his mother like this and was really curious about what happened to her mother. Mom, what's wrong with you? Why do you look a little unhappy? Looking at her 8-year-old daughter, Oravia knew that she was going to reveal the historical text now, and it was possible that Marine headquarters would rush here one day, and it was also a requirement of her own. What should I do with my daughter? Will she die with me at such a young age? He thought that he should hand over all the historical texts he had researched to his daughter, and then ask his daughter to leave here as soon as possible. He could not let him stay here and be in danger with him. Mom has something to say to you. I hope you can listen carefully and don't forget a word. Robin had never seen his mother look so serious, as if there was something important. He nodded obediently, intending to listen carefully. Mom, tell me, what exactly is going on? Oravia took out the historical text she had studied and handed it directly to her daughter. Robin knew that his mother was a scholar and very smart. What had she been studying? Could it be that what his mother gave him now was the result of his research? Mother, what is this? Oravia didn't want to explain too much, she just wanted her daughter to be taken good care of. Hold it carefully. Mom, I will BFDF send you away from here tomorrow. You can't stay here in Ohara any longer. Seeing that her mother was trying to drive her away, Robin was unwilling to leave her mother. She was thinking that she was so young and her mother asked her to leave, so where could she go? Without the embrace of my mother, I would definitely be particularly pitiful. Mother, don't leave with me. Where can I go alone? Orvia can't care so much now, she just hopes that her daughter will obey her. If her daughter doesn't leave, both mother and daughter may die. No matter what, you listen to mother. If you don't, mother, I will not recognize you as my daughter. Seeing his mother forcing him like this, Robin could only nod obediently and agreed to his mother. Seeing that her daughter had promised herself, Orvia sighed, took her daughter's little hand, and took him back to plan to spend the remaining time with her daughter. After Lai Mu had a good sleep, he wanted to go out and take another look to see when he could reach his destination in Ohara. After going out, he saw Akainu still standing there looking at the wind direction. Lai Mu thought that he had been really hard these days and should go back to the cabin to rest more. Akainu, the wind direction seems to be very favorable now. Just go back to the cabin and rest more. Hearing Lai Mu's voice, Akainu turned around and shook his head with a smile. Lai Mu, I'm really not that tired. I just stay on the deck and observe more. Lai Mu smiled, still wanting him to rest more, and came directly to his side. Go and rest quickly. Don't reach Ohara's destination by then. I handed the silver phone bug to you. You really don't have the energy to help me get things done. Akainu was surprised when he heard Lai Mu say that he had given the silver phone charger to him, and wondered if what Lai Mu said was true. 177. Akainu also has moments of vulnerability. 177. Akainu also has moments of vulnerability. But he really didn't dare to hope anymore, because he didn't have the qualifications, and he was too embarrassed to pick up the silver phone bug. What Lai Mu just said to Akainu happened to be heard by the two marine soldiers who had scolded Lai Mu before. They really couldn't understand Lai Mu's thoughts and why Lai Mu wanted to hand over the silver phone bug to Akainu. It was Akainu who had ordered them to do something wrong before, but now Akainu could actually take advantage of it, and they didn't even have the means to sail the ship. Therefore, the two of them must oppose this matter to the end, and the two of them hurriedly came to Lai Mu's side. Lai Mu, what are you talking about? You just said that when you arrive at Ohara's destination, you want to hand over the silver phone bug to Akainu, right? Yes, why should I leave it to him? Is he worthy? Lai Mu was thinking that he could hand it over to whomever he wanted. Why did the two of them come out to point fingers? Do they have the qualifications? They are just small soldiers, and Akainu's identity is completely different from theirs. Akainu is the vice admiral, and it is most appropriate for him to hand over the silver phone bug to Akainu. Just when Lai Mu was about to speak to reprimand the two of them, Akainu pulled Lai Mu back, hoping that Lai Mu would stop talking. Indeed, he had done something wrong before. Forget it, Lai Mu, there's nothing wrong with what they said. It seems like I'm really not worthy enough to get that silver phone bug. Lai Mu was thinking that she gave the silver phone bug to Akainu because she believed in him and knew that he could get things done. Why does he lose confidence now that I believe him? Why do you think you don't have the ability to do these things well? You have always wanted to complete Ohara's mission. Now you have the opportunity to complete it, but you don't intend to take this silver phone bug in your hands. Such lack of self-confidence really disappoints me. Lai Mu had spoken and left a little angry. Seeing Lai Mu leaving angrily, Akainu wanted to catch up with Lai Mu and explain it properly, but was stopped by the two marine soldiers. They really wanted to laugh at Akainu. Even if Lai Mu gave him such an opportunity, he didn't have the confidence to take it. I didn't expect that Akainu, who was so majestic before, would be like this now. It's really embarrassing. Yes, that is such a precious silver phone bug. If you don't dare to take it, how can you possibly complete Ohara's mission? The two were about to leave, but were stopped again by Akainu. Akainu did not allow them to laugh at him like this. He was sure that he could complete this mission well. You two, stop here, I won't allow you to say that to me. When the two people heard Akainu calling them, they did not fear Akainu. Then they thought about how two people could not defeat Akainu alone. The two men grabbed their fists and threw them at Akainu. Akainu also started punching and kicking them. Several people struggled together, and Akainu seemed to be a little inferior to the two of them. They were two people, and Akainu was alone. The two of them just wiped Shijitsu to the ground and beat him wildly. Kizaru came out of the cockpit and wanted to get some air. He really saw this scene and rushed forward, shouting loudly. Please give me flowers. Stop it all. Hearing Kizaru's voice, the two marines quickly stopped, stood up and fled from here. Seeing them escaping like this, Kizaru didn't chase them, but hurriedly held Waishu up. What's up, Akainu? Is there nothing wrong with you? Akainu shook his head, feeling very uncomfortable in his heart. I'm so embarrassed to answer the silver phone bug. I don't have the courage to be laughed at like this. Seeing that Akainu didn't speak, Kizaru wanted to know what happened just now and why they fought. 0. This time it was Lai Mu who was commanding the mission. If Lai Mu saw it, Lai Mu would definitely be a little angry. What's wrong, Akainu? Just tell me if there's anything you need. Akainu shook his head. He was too embarrassed to speak to Kizaru. He had done too many wrong things before, so how could she be embarrassed to say it out? Seeing that Akainu was still unwilling to speak, Kizaru sat next to him, wanting to tell her that they were both Marines from Marineford, and they could talk to each other about whatever was on their minds. Only in this way can everyone help each other after understanding the situation. Akainu, we are from a Marine headquarters. I hope you can tell me and Lai Mu if you have anything to say, and we will listen carefully. Only in this way can I help you. Seeing Kizaru saying these words to him so sincerely and wanting to help him, Akainu couldn't control his tears and started to fall down. Kizaru had never seen Akainu cry so sadly. He had always been a stubborn person before, and he never thought that he would shed tears in front of him when he was vulnerable. Point 178. Lai Mu needs to be honest with each other. 178. Lai Mu needs to be honest with each other. What's wrong? What's going on, Akainu? Please tell me quickly. Hearing Kizaru questioning him again, Akainu wiped away his tears and recounted what had just happened. After hearing what Akainu said, Kizaru finally understood. It seemed that Akainu was not courageous, but just embarrassed. Akainu, I understand, but now your embarrassment will make others misunderstand that you have no courage, so you have to face this matter bravely. Go and take over Lai Mu's silver phone bug, and help with this matter. Well done, Lai Mu. Everyone will see your strength, and even more, 313, will make them affirm your courage. Kizaru said a lot of encouraging words, but Shigu still didn't know how to face Lai Mu. He had already rejected Lai Mu just now. If he went again now, would Lai Mu still give him the silver phone bug? Seeing his appearance, Kizaru patted Akainu on the shoulder. Akainu, no matter what, you should go to Lai Mu and fight for it again, and definitely tell Lai Mu that you can help him complete this mission. I believe that Lai Mu will hand over the silver phone bug to you. Hands. After Kizaru said this, he kept looking at Akainu with encouraging eyes. Akainu heard Kizaru's words of encouragement one after another, and knew that he couldn't go anymore, so he should go and fight for Lai Mu. Okay Kizaru, I'll go now. I will definitely promise Lai Mu that I will help him get this done. Akainu ran directly to Lai Mu's cabin. When he came to Lai Mu's cabin door, his hands were slightly trembling, but he still knocked on the door. Hearing the knock on the door, Lai Mu stood up and opened the door. Unexpectedly, he saw blood flowing from the corner of Akainu's mouth and his face was a little blue. Lai Mu really wondered what happened to him. I said Akainu, what happened? Akainu shook his head with a smile. She felt that the injury on her face really had nothing to do with it. He just wanted to say what was in his heart to Lai Mu. Lai Mu, can I come and sit in your cabin? There are some things I want to say to you. Seeing that he had something to say to her, Lai Mu stepped aside and welcomed Akainu into his cabin. After entering, Akainu did not sit down, but stood there and said directly, Lai Mu, I hope you can hand over the silver phone bug to me. Don't worry, I will help you get this done. Lai Mu became curious, why did he come to his cabin again now that he had rejected her just now, hoping that she would hand over the silver phone bug to him. Akainu kept staring at him when he saw Lai Mu. Akainu knew that Lai Mu must be a little confused. It seemed that he should explain to Lai Mu why he didn't answer the silver phone just now. Lai Mu, actually it's not that I don't have courage, nor that I don't have self-confidence, it's just that I've done too many wrong things to you before, so I'm a little embarrassed to pick up this silver phone bug. I hesitated for a long time just now and refused. You. Hearing him say he was sorry, Lai Mu wondered if he was embarrassed now. Lai Mu still wanted to continue asking him why she had changed his mind now. Then you really should tell me carefully. What is it that makes you change your mind and plan to take the silver phone bug I gave you? Hearing Lai Mu ask himself, Akainu stood there and became hesitant again. Seeing that she had something going on and seemed to be willing to hide it, Lai Mu slammed his face out of the window, intending to ask him to leave his cabin. You'd better go out. You and I still can't be honest with each other. Even if you have the nerve now and want to take the silver phone bug over, I really don't want to hand it over to you. Seeing that Lai Mu changed his mind, Akainu knew that it was because of his hesitation that Lai Mu was a little angry. Kizaru just said to himself that he should tell Lai Mu or Kizaru what he was thinking in his heart. Everyone should talk to each other and help each other. Now he really has no choice but to confess to Lai Mu. Lai Mu, just after you left, the two marine soldiers laughed at me. I was very dissatisfied with them laughing at me, so I fought with them. The two of them bullied me alone and beat me until my nose was bruised and my face was swollen. I have also awakened a lot. If I think I am really 5.7, I should pick up the silver phone bug and let them see that I am capable and let them confirm that I have the courage to do this well. Lai Mu was also surprised to hear what he said honestly to herself. All these things happened in this short period of time. Lai Mu asked with concern, how about that? Does the injury on your face hurt? I'll ask the ship's doctor to take a look at it for you. Akainu shook his head stupidly. He really didn't feel the pain on his face. He just hoped that Lai Mu would give the silver phone bug to him. Point 179. The silver phone bug is officially handed over to Akainu. Amazing video. 0/447. 179. The silver phone bug is officially handed over to Akainu. This time, I wasn't fighting for the silver phone bug for any reason, I just wanted to help Lai Mu do this. Lai Mu, please trust me and hand over the silver phone bug to me. Akainu begged. Seeing how she was begging him and being so anxious, how could Lai Mu not hand over the silver phone bug to her? But now Lai Mu hoped that the military doctor on the ship would give him a good look. You'd better go take a look first. I'm afraid that your injury will affect your ability to lead the Marines to complete Ohara's mission. Lai Mu took him and left his cabin directly, leaving the military doctor's cabin behind. After the military doctor took a look at it, he thought that Akainu's injuries were fine and he might be fine when he reached Ohara's destination. Don't worry, I will prescribe him some medicine and then go to treat his wound. Hearing the military doctor's announcement, Lai Mu was really relieved. He planned to take Akainu to the deck soon, summon all the marine soldiers on the deck, and tell them that he had identified the silver phone bug and handed it over to Akainu. After treating the wound, Lai Mu took Akainu and walked out directly. Akainu was pulled by Lai Mu like this, and he was really curious about what Lai Mu was going to do with him. Lai Mu, where are we going? Where are you going? Just follow me, Lai Mu said impatiently. They met several marine soldiers who were doing something on the deck, Lai Mu said loudly. You go and gather the other marines. I have something to announce. Hearing Lai Mu say something was announced, Akainu stood aside and understood. He knew that it was possible that Lai Mu wanted to hand over the silver phone to him. He immediately became excited and had a happy smile on his face. Lai Mu slowly turned around and saw the smile on his face blooming like a flower. Let Lai Mu see it, this is a real smile. After about a while, all the marine soldiers came to the deck. The deck was very wide. Lai Mu stood there and said directly. This time we are going to complete Ohara's mission. I still have a silver phone bug in my hand that I want to give to the person who will take you to complete the mission. I have decided on this person now. That is Akainu. I want to give the silver phone bug to the person who will take you to complete the mission. Leave the phone to him. After hearing Lai Mu say this, almost no one objected, because everyone agreed with Lai Mu's decision. Except for Akainu, the others are all soldiers. Only Akainu is Vice Admiral, what will they say in reply? Seeing that no one said anything, Lai Mu knew that they probably had no objections. Lai Mu directly took out the silver phone bug and raised it high. Did you see it? This is the silver phone bug, and I will hand it over to Akainu now. Lai Mu directly slapped Akainu's hand. Akainu was holding the silver phone bug, and his hands were shaking a little. He was really so excited that he didn't know what to say now. Some marines were joking and trying to tease Akainu. Akainu, why don't you speak? Yes, aren't you happy to have such a precious silver phone bug in your hands? Seeing everyone questioning himself, Akainu burst into tears. He was choked up again and didn't know how to speak. Lai Mu was amused when he saw his appearance, and patted Akainu on the shoulder, thinking that it didn't matter whether he spoke or not, as long as he took good care of the silver phone bug and did good things when the time came. You all should stop teasing Akainu and just do your own thing. I estimate that we will arrive at Ohara's destination soon. I hope you will do your best to help me get this done. Good. Seeing Lai Mu saying 240 politely, everyone nodded and dispersed to leave the deck. Akainu held the silver phone bug tightly in his hand and wanted to say something to Lai Mu, but he didn't seem to know how to speak. Lai Mu knew whether he was too emotional or wanted to wait until he calmed down before saying what he wanted to say. Akainu, go back to your room and take a short rest. After all, you were beaten just now. You probably still have some pain on your face. There is one more thing I want to tell you. Last time, everyone was very dissatisfied with my golden phone bug. Poor Salino wanted to steal it, so he handed the silver phone bug to you. Everyone congratulated you with a smile on their face. But if there is a possibility that they want to frame you secretly, you must protect the silver phone bug, do you understand? Seeing that Lai Mu had told him so much, Akainu could only nod his head, hold the silver phone bug tightly, and left Lai Mu's presence. Point 180. The erring soldier was found. 180. The erring soldier was found. After seeing him leave, Lai Mu wanted to find the two marine soldiers. Lai Mu said these things to him because he was afraid that the two marine soldiers who were fighting with him would do these things. Now I want to find them and give them some warnings, hoping that they will not have such thoughts. If they were discovered by themselves, they would definitely not be spared. Lai Mu searched around the ship for a long time, but couldn't find the two marine soldiers. She was really curious about where they went. It seemed that he had to use a few more marine soldiers to find them as soon as possible. Go and help me find the two marine soldiers who drove the boat before. I have something to do with them. I must ask them to come to my cabin as soon as possible. The few marine soldiers who heard the order nodded and began to search everywhere. Lai Mu returned to the cabin and planned to wait slowly. The two marine soldiers who had just bullied Akainu were really afraid that Kizaru would tell Lai Mu about the scene just now. When the time came, Lai Mu knew that he would not let them off lightly. The two people were so frightened that they could only hide in the warehouse and did not dare to come out. It was getting late, and everyone started to eat. The two people's stomachs were growling in the warehouse, so they could only look around in the warehouse for some food and drink. They really found a lot of good wine, because this time to complete Ohara's mission, Sengoku Admiral prepared enough for Lai Mu and the others. As long as their mission is completed, they can really enjoy some delicious food and wine to celebrate. The mood of the two of them has been very bad these days. They can't go sailing anymore, and now they are useless. They really want to drink a few drinks to relieve their sorrow. They each opened a bottle of wine, started drinking, and sat there drunkenly talking nonsense. After listening to Lai Mu's order, several marine soldiers really heard the sound coming from the warehouse. Several people directly opened the door of the warehouse and poked inside with flashlights. The two marine soldiers who made the mistake were shaken until their eyes hurt, and they cursed loudly at the door. Who is it? It's so annoying to be dazzling our eyes like this. Yes, you are really looking for death. Let's see how I teach you a lesson. He directly threw the bottle towards the door, and the bottle was smashed into pieces. The few marine soldiers who got the order rushed in immediately and dragged the two people out. Seeing their drunken appearance, several people decided to send them to Lai Mu's cabin. Anyway, they got things done. Soon several people came to Lai Mu's cabin door and knocked on the door. Hearing the knock on the door, Lai Mu stood up and opened the door. He didn't expect to find the two erring marine soldiers after searching for so long. Where did you find them? And why are they like this now? Seeing Lai Mu's inquiry, one of the marine soldiers said directly, "We found them in the warehouse. They probably drank the wine secretly under the warehouse, otherwise their faces would be red and their words would be gibberish." Seeing the marine soldier telling him this, Lai Mu nodded and planned to let them bring the two marine soldiers who had made mistakes to his cabin first. "You'd better drag the two of them in for me first, and then get 2 basins of seawater for me to pour on them." After hearing Lai Mu's instructions, several marine soldiers nodded and dragged in the 2 marine soldiers who had made mistakes. After being dragged in, several people left Lai Mu's cabin first, intending to bring some seawater and pour it on the 2 marine soldiers. The 2 marine soldiers who had made mistakes were still talking nonsense in front of Lai Mu. They drank a little too much and didn't know that Lai Mu was in front of them. Quote. This Lai Mu is really a bad guy. He actually wants to hand over the silver phone bug to that Akainu. If you don't agree, I just don't agree. Yes, he is not a good person, and he won't let us sail the ship. After we get back, we will go to the World War Palace 5 elders to report his situation. Lai Mu did not expect that the hatred he had formed with them, Di Hajao, would be so great, and that they would hate him so much. But with their current attitude, if he went up to slap them twice, they probably wouldn't be able to feel it. However, the effect of force is reciprocal. If you hit them on the face, your hands will also feel a little painful. Don't be in a hurry, just wait a little, and the marine soldiers will probably bring the seawater soon. Just as Lai Mu was thinking, there was a knock on the door again. Lai Mu quickly opened the door, and several marine soldiers brought a lot of seawater. Lai Mu said directly, "Go pour it on them and let them wake up to me."